It's time for just say you got to earn your liberation. Say Coney, you got to earn your liberation. People will watch like people that's grooming me this round. Like it too. Yo, all the garments. Pulse up. Earn your liberation.
Well,
Jared
none
left.
of us is up there.
Oh, because Jared left and didn't put this down. What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all feeling?
Why y'all go back to the original logo?
What original logo?
You see up there in the corner?
That's not the original one. Oh, is it? Jared did that, man. You know how Jared be doing. Anyway, welcome. Peace. Jared had some computer difficulties. He got kicked out of the chat. Hold on. Where's that logo at? Anyway, how you feeling, man?
I'm good. I'm just getting back to Chicago. But I'm still in the wrong time zone.
I see you in them New York streets with them suits and stuff. Like you had a 3-piece suit or something, man?
No.
It looked like a 3-piece suit, Diallo.
You first of all, no, a 3-piece suit has to match.
I don't know about that. I don't know if you've been around lately.
Yeah, they're all the same. It has to match.
Mm.
And I had on no vest.
You looked like you had a vest on. This is the right one? Or maybe that's why he did it, because the thing had the little white outline.
What are you talking about?
I just changed it.
Oh. I guess we have a vector one too, but whatever.
The vector one? Well, upload it, man. Do something with it.
You know, I've never owned or worn a 3. I think it was Easter of 1987 was the last time I had a 3-piece suit on. My grandmother bought me one from Harold Pinners.
From who?
Harold Pinners.
That's
this old Jewish man that sold shoes and clothing to the whole black community in the whole hood of Kansas City. Everybody wore Harold Pinner.
There you go. Fix.
So anyway,
Jared, you can hear us? Oh.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just waiting for Diallo to finish his story.
Wait, Harold Pinners or Earl Pinners?
Harold Pinners.
Oh, you sound like me talking about Earl.
Pinners. That's how you're supposed to say it.
Earl?
You didn't look him in the eye and you didn't enunciate his name out of respect.
Hey, you know, me and Diallo showed up on time. Jared came in late and shit, you know.
The diva.
The diva. He the new diva.
Well, he got on that Kenji cloth shirt, so he wanted to debut it. He wanted to make a dramatic entrance.
He made his Drake entrance.
Fancy, huh?
Oh, now you're being truly disrespectful. Now you've gone too far. No, Geechee.
Oh, what did he say?
The Drake entrance. Drake. Drake coming through.
That's a nice shirt. You talking about my suit? That's a nice shirt, Jared.
Jared, you see Diallo's suit?
Thank you. No, the shit emoji.
Oh no, not that one. Diallo popped up in New York with a 3-piece suit. Look like. Let me see if I can
popped up where.
Somewhere.
And then we learned that Geechee don't know what a 3-piece suit is.
Oh, this is my homeboy. You should have get styled by my homeboy Thrash, man.
That was a summer yacht party ensemble.
Oh, my bad. You was at a yacht party?
No, but that's what I wore.
Oh.
I was wearing yacht wear.
Why you took the picture down? I can't find it now.
I didn't take the picture down.
It was on your stories?
Huh?
It was on your stories?
What you talking about?
I thought it was on Instagram.
No, I didn't put it. It's on Facebook.
Diallo, man. Diallo just be switching shit up.
I didn't, but it's not a 3-piece suit, and it kind of.
I know, man. I know it ain't no 3-piece suits, man. I'm joking, man.
Oh,
but
good.
you do got a tie on, looking like you from, you know. Oh, you already see it. You look like he from. You look like you went to a church convention. I'm just telling you.
Dude, I got other things going on in my life than y'all. Y'all think I just sit around wait for Friday? I be doing things.
I'm pretty sure you went to. I'm pretty sure that was a Baptist convention.
I'm
pretty sure that was
the South. We should talk about that shit.
What? There's a Baptist
geezers and weirdos, the Baptists. I don't know.
Something had happened at the Baptist convention
every year.
Oh, hey, you know what? Dr. Mingle, she worked really hard for this. So we need to do this, man. We need to put this in the chat to find out where you at. Right. So we looking to see where EYL is at in the world. And so it's a quick little, put your little zip code in your alias if you want. And then you can help us inform where we need to pop up at, where we need to be, what we need to be.
And
doing.
I will add the link to the show description just so people who see this later on, and then we should come back and remind people of it at the later on in the show. Because they talk about us being divas. It's the chat that likes to show up late. They like to filter it late and make their special entrances.
And then when they come in, they say, "What we talking about? What y'all talking about? What's going on?" But don't.
So remember that De La Soul song? Where your area code? That's what we're looking for here. Shout out to De La. Put your area code.
Don't put it in the chat. Click on the map. So
no, we just click on the map.
Yeah, we put
and you
the
can refresh. You can even refresh the link to this show. It's already there, so you can. It's where are you? Or where are we? As the form says, and then you see the form, and you just fill out the little form for us. The name is an alias is optional, helpful but not required. But we are curious where folks are in the world.
Yeah. Diallo,
and are we telling them why?
So we can
because Diallo gonna show up at your house with a suit.
So we can pull up.
So we doing door knocking. We send him out. We don't have any more of them young white boys with ties. So
that's our new project. Diallo at your door.
Diallo gonna come and tell you about
segment.
Jesus Cristo. He gonna tell you about Jesus Cristo.
So John, folks, this is what we want you to put in the form, not the chat. We appreciate the response, but folks, put it on the form, not the chat.
And then we'll get like a map full of little EYL logos. You see, Geechee changed the logo.
Did he?
No, because you had the old one up. You had the one that's representing our old name,
the gritty one, not the polished one.
But this kind of not.
Speaking of that, though, I got to make another announcement too. So while folks are filling that out, we do have an upcoming platform-wide live event, the Remix Morning Show All Stars, as Ear Doctor has labeled it, and I'll put the link to this in the chat as well. But Saturday, June 29th, 1 to 4 p.m., Connecticut Avenue, Washington, D.C. Come meet and hang out with the Remix All-Stars. And who knows what's going to go on beyond that time frame. We're going to be right downtown around a lot of spots. It could be
you making all the nice flyers for everybody else except us, man.
Well, he got pushed back on that. I mean, folks were saying, using Diallo's word, actually, that it wasn't gritty enough, that it was too starry and but he was like, it's the morning show. It's like it's a remix. What was wrong with the flyer, Leah?
I was trying to get that man some props, and y'all just gonna tear that man down right back again. Diallo, you on mute. I thought that man was.
I said Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, that man tried. That man tried really hard. He
That's shameful. Shame on everybody.
Not Diallo, my bad. Air Doctor, I think you did a good job, brother. Keep keep using your artistic talents to do other things other than spin records. Shout out to Air Doctor.
So I'm putting the link to that in the
They hating on you, bro. Don't worry about it, man. You did well. You did well. Make some for us, man. Make a flyer for us, bro. Get us popping, man.
apparently that's not. Oh, there he is. What's up, man? Why they hating on you, man?
Hey, I
thought it was he did a good job. Oh, you did. I was busy putting the link in the show description. My fault.
Yeah, Doctor, get us popping, man. Spin us like, hey, I think you need to make us a mix, right? So we can play that in our intro.
So speaking of that, I forgot to mention this, and I forgot to tell Ear Doctor directly. Thank you again for the mix, for the graduation party mix he sent me for my daughter's graduation party.
Oh, shoot.
Salute to you, Ear Doctor. And appreciate that. I completely forgot to thank him for it, man. There was so much going on. And but it was dope. And it was a good party, good hangout. My two favorite people in the world showed up. And it's weird because you got crew, but they're not crew themselves per se, but everybody gets along when they get together. Mm-hmm. So they from like different wings of your universe per se, and but they like your favorites from one wing is over there, one is over there, and then they all come and hang out. It was perfect.
Air Doctor love the kids, man. That's what he said.
Yeah, he hooked it up, man. I mean, I don't know what I was listening to, but everybody's head was nodding, so I just left it at that and put my I Mix What I Like drop on top of it to take the credit. Like every time he did his little Ear Doctor drops, I just hit I Mix What I Like.
Oh dang! Look at you.
It was
you plagiarized. You just plagiarized.
I plagiarized the mix.
I steal what I like.
I steal what I like. What I like. No, I would never do that, man. I wouldn't even do that, man.
No, but DJing is an art, man. I remember one time I was in college. I was DJing and I was playing music for everybody's city that came. So we had football team, basketball team, and it's an art to turn people up, yo.
No, it's different. I mean, it's people sometimes will reduce it to, I'm just going to do my playlist. That's not what a DJ is. So, I mean, you can make a nice, playlist, but there is still the art of DJing. So
it's almost like an instrument, even without scratching. I think it's almost like an instrument. It's like playing an instrument.
Yeah. Well, knowing how to order the songs, blends, BPMs, blends, all of that. So yeah, salute to the Ear Doctor. Shout out to Sundays. All right, where we want to get started this fine Friday morning.
Let's see what we got here, man. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, I think we got a good bit to talk about today. I don't know if we want to start with the graphic stuff, man, but let's start with Joe Biden and his comments on. So I want to start with this conversation around Medgar Everett's. I don't hear a lot of people talk about.
Wait, real quick, you mentioned Biden. Are you going to be on with us tomorrow, Geechee, for the Civil War discussion?
Yes,
I watched it last night
twice.
Okay, twice. All right, yeah.
And I'm just, I got a lot of questions, but we could get into that. But I watched it twice.
All right, I just wanted to check. I just want to make sure. Okay.
So yeah, for people in the chat, you should watch Civil War and then come hang out with us tomorrow. At Saturdays with Renee, because that's gonna be some interesting stuff. And then never mind, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. So Medgar Evers Juneteenth commemorated by this is just all right. I started to watch it. I was trying to be ready, do my homework, man, but I was like, if I gotta watch it tomorrow, I'm gonna have to because it's not long, but it's just We ready for it?
This one playing, yeah. Oh, actually, I wonder if this. Go ahead, because it was a better one. Might be clipped with Medgar Evers, but yeah, we can play that one.
Oh, I thought this was the one you wanted. Oh,
yeah, that was the one, but okay. I forgot about this other one too. But go ahead.
France, where I visited the beaches of Normandy to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day, which was the first step in liberating all of Europe and changing civilization. On that hallowed ground, I spoke about a brave American soldier who fought tyranny for the hope, freedom of democracy. One of those soldiers the Red Ball Express, who fought for freedom on distant shores, was a civil rights lawyer who fought for freedom here at home. 61 years ago this week,
Wow.
he was gunned down at home in Mississippi in the poison of white supremacy. But all these years later, his spirit endures. You all know his name. It was Medgar Evers.
Man, that
Last month, I awarded Medgar Evers the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our nation's highest civilian honor, posthumously. Because life reminds us of our chains that we have to keep in redeeming the soul of America. Folks, that's what Juneteenth is all about. That's why I awarded the Medal of Freedom to Miss Oprah Lee as well.
Why he did what?
Grandmother of Juneteenth.
to who? To what? Let me say, look. So he did.
You in trouble, Jared?
What?
Huh?
What did he do?
What is that
What did he do?
noise?
He was mocking
Oh,
Biden, that raggedy old racist. Don't we have that's ableist? He was mocking his slur. That's obvious the result of some cognitive decline.
oh no! I was making fun of the cocktail of opiates he must be on to keep him standing upright and semi
Well,
functional.
addiction is also a disease.
Well,
Ableist.
my bad. Okay,
Nope,
but I just want to be clear. Well, when I get targeted, I just want to be clear which ailment. Which ailment?
Jared Ball, what you gonna do? Please come for you, Jared Ball. What you gonna do?
This is what I know. This is what I know we have to do. We got to move the BPM weekly meetings away from the night before EYL. That's what I know we need to do.
You ain't
That's
gonna be
what I
here
know we
after,
need to do.
after today anyway, so don't worry about it. Get out of here. We ain't 10 minutes into our show.
Well, we about to get strike again.
No, he's saying I'm gonna get removed.
You killing us, Petey.
No, listen. He did. Oh my God, he did a lot in that.
No, I give him credit. You know, Trump would have been like, my good friend Medgar. I was talking to Medgar. Trump wouldn't even acknowledge, he wouldn't know whether he was alive or dead. Right. So I give him that. At least he knows the man is passed on.
No, Diallo. No, Diallo. Do you not see him looking at both teleprompters, reading them? He don't know shit going on.
That's fine. But Trump be out here calling dead people
alive. Because Trump don't read the teleprompter. He just wing everything.
I'm just saying. So he's already ahead of Trump. Trump would have been like, I met Medgar Evers on the way in here, and
we had a nice dinner.
Credit to his race. So I'm just like, I was waiting. So Trump, he's still ahead of Trump on that.
And therein lies the difference between Democrats and Republicans.
Medgar Evers, stand up and take a bow, Medgar. Take a bow.
So let's do a quick snapshot. If I missed something, y'all fill me in. But of Medgar Evers, born in Decatur, Mississippi in 1925. He entered World War II during his sophomore year at Newton County High School. Him and his brother, Charles, after coming back, they decided that they wanted to go vote. And so they organized a bunch of other Black World War II veterans from Decatur to go vote. There was some obviously repression or suppression or whatever. They didn't want them to vote. So they actually was willing to have like a kind of a shootout or a fight that didn't ever happen, but they kind of like decided not to vote. And then he became employee at Magnolia Mutual, and he began to sell insurance while recruiting and organizing members into the NAACP. Obviously, we're going to talk about the limitations of NAACP and their fear of being red baited. But so also when we talk about that, we can kind of talk about the limitations of organizations just in general. So Medgar, Malcolm, and even Robert F. Williams. But when Mac Charles Parker, the famous, I guess not, I won't say famous, but it was this when Mac Charles Parker was murdered, there was times when Evers was talking about how he wanted to, shoot back. And so there's this merging of Robert F. Williams and Medgar Evers trying to in a way, I guess, radicalized NAACP that never happened. So
he said Medgar Evers said that black people should form a Mau Mau in the United States. I mean, he
yeah.
So the whole thing of interweaving the Western world's scramble for imperial control of the world in World War II with Normandy to a black soldier serving in that process, while ignoring even the integrationist double V campaign of we're going to win over there with the Allies and then win civil rights over here. Ignoring those ignoring the radicalization involved in black soldiers coming back from these wars and seeing what wasn't possible here in the United States and elevating their own, and then connecting that to a Juneteenth celebration of the delayed, never have really truly occurred freedom. Or right. I mean, he did a lot there in 90 seconds. Right. I took a shot at his ability to overcome opiates and read 2 screens at that. I mean, I shout out for that too. You know, he read 2 screens. You're muted, Diallo.
I don't think opiates I think he was taking uppers.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying that's just the word that rolled off, you know. So
yeah. So what Jared was talking about when he was in Mound Bayou, he started to like study African independent movements, particularly like the nationalist struggle in Kenya. And this was prior to him joining the NAACP or prior to him being the field secretary. But he, as Jared said, he envisioned that we would have to get into some guerrilla warfare, forming clandestine black commandos, just like, you know, the Mau Mau. And again, he was quickly, I think that's even before Robert F. Williams, but both of them simultaneously was being suppressed from actually defending themselves in a way. And it's interesting how it's almost like the people who report about him still carrying a gun, it's kind of like they celebrate him reactively carrying a gun every place in his house, but they like discourage him actually being prepared to have, I guess, a more intentional struggle with the gun. And I guess they call it reactionary, but again, you're still reacting to some type of violence. So the night that he is murdered, when he come back home, the security didn't follow him. And the person who killed him he came to a bunch of meetings. He was sitting with the media a couple times, but I feel like being proactive about that, people could have been searching other people and I guess kind of turning the tide. But I guess initially, like when you think about I guess armed struggle and or the limitations of, I guess, organizations censoring people. I mean, Diallo, when you think of Medgar Evers, like what do you remember or what do you know about him, or what do you think, what part of his story is being suppressed? Because obviously him being a part of NAACP and people like Biden now kind of talking about him, that part of his, you know, history will be kind of washed. And they will probably highlight the fact that NAACP was able to kind of like, I don't want to say silence him, but kind of force him into more of their politics.
Well, there's a few things with Medgar Evers. We've made a mistake like this throughout our struggle, having the above ground. It was covered by Sundiata Acoli, having our above ground and underground movements fused when they should be separate, independent, and have extremely limited interaction. Especially if you are within an oppressive state and you decide to engage in guerrilla asymmetrical warfare, sabotage, and direct material subversion of the apparatus of the state, you cannot be publicly making speeches. You cannot be part of a public front-facing organization. So, you know, in terms of we can, what they say, Sunday morning quarterback, or we have the 2020 vision that comes with historical. Anybody that is public, takes a public leadership stance in a forward-facing organization should not be engaged in or connected to in any way asymmetrical underground. And the Black Panther parties, Sundiata Acoli talked about how their because that's just not guerrilla warfare. He talked about how the Black Liberation Army and the Black Panther Party were too integrated, too cross-pollinated, and there should have never been people working in the giving public speaking, working in the feed the children, in the free breakfast program, and then at night out doing asymmetrical attacks against the systems and its institutions. So from a strategic level, also I think because again, Kwame Ture talked about when a revolutionary is in transition, as Malcolm or Medgar was in a height of radicalization, if they do are assassinated or pass away, they do have this mixed or contradictory legacy, because the NAACP is not only an integrationist, it's a radical pro-status quo organization.
Mm-hmm.
And he was radicalizing and evolving beyond that, but he was still in a prominent position within it. So people with a legacy like that, it allows for people to kind of pick and choose and identify what aspect of their development they want to identify, highlight, and move to the fore.
So what do you think about, like, because again, he's once he left the military, he became more radicalized even before he joined the NAACP. So what are your thoughts around, like, and I'm pretty sure there are people in different cities or towns where they might have radicalized politics, but the only organization that they could join is NAACP, Black Lives Matter, or so. Like, would you suggest that people still go struggle with organizations that might be not as?
But you also, at that time, while you're in that group trying to either gain what type of organizational skills, gain access to the resource of that established formation, or even work within it to radicalize, or work within it to recruit more radical individuals, while you're in a reactionary status quo integrationist liberal organization doing work and trying to extract or contribute what good you can, you cannot simultaneously be engaged in asymmetrical warfare or guerrilla tactics on the side or in your free time, so to speak. That is so you have to. Some strategies do not complement each other. Some strategies do not advance your interests. They expose you and others to unnecessary risks for an extremely limited amount of reward. So I understand being a member of an organization you don't fully align with, and you can, like I said, contribute or extract benefits in that situation. But once you go to the mattresses, that's a whole different level and of struggle that has different requirements, different limitations, and different demands on your time, your effort, and there's varying degrees of risk rewards totally change. And so you got these organizations out here advocating like Huey P. Newton Gun Club and Not Fucking Around Coalition. We especially during the Black Lives Matter movement, you found these adjacent organizations armed and ready to engage in armed confrontation with the state or representatives of the state and independent actors such as Proud Boys and other racist groups.
Right.
And if you are a revolutionary armed faction and you've got an integrationist Black Lives Matter, you should not be marching shoulder to shoulder with Black Lives Matter. When what formerly known as the New Black Panther Party, but now apparently it's the Black Panther Nation, showing up at polls with guns and billy clubs, that has never worked. That's theatrics. Yeah. So after, I understand, because this was relatively new for African people in the 60s and the civil rights movement. But all in all, yes, if you're going to go and say, well, I know this organization isn't truly revolutionary, but I think I can make a positive contribution to the just aspirations through this group, then you pretty much have exempted yourself or removed yourself from the armed confrontation. So,
right. Jared, so what do you think? So his ideas of guerrilla warfare and bringing this national, international attention to the freedom struggle, and him pitching this to, because even the top NAACP leaders knew that this is what he was on and what he wanted to do, but obviously he didn't get the support for those methods to do that in NAACP. And so even as I think about, like we talked about non-reformist reform to at least heighten the struggle, people describe him as like a middleman. Like, you know, he was between local activists who wanted to engage in civil disobedience, but he also was conservative, well, with the conservative national NAACP. So would you agree with Diallo in terms of you the only person in your, I mean, well, there's no organization in your city that share your politics, and there's some, you know, more liberal organizations or conservative organizations. Would you agree that you still should engage them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I slightly disagree with Diallo here on is I could see value in participating in above ground activity depending on the situation and whatever was necessary going on underground. I could see, but in general, no, I think in general, I agree with Diallo saying. I just was thinking I could see some advantage to participating in above ground, quote unquote, legal, legitimate, sanctioned behavior. The only thing that I remember thinking at the time when whenever I think about Medgar Evers in this issue, the only thing that I think that I would disagree with him on, given what I think I understand about the conditions of the time, is I don't know that he should have been on camera advocating a Mau Mau in the way that he was. I'm not masking any underground activity, but I would think that any above ground discussion of guerrilla warfare should just be to generally acknowledge its role in the history of struggle, to maybe give some explanation or some explanatory power to why people would engage in that, given the conditions that they're forced to suffer.
Right.
But to actually advocate it and encourage it overtly, I wouldn't think would be wise. But yeah, if you find yourself in a space where there is no particular existing formation that suits your liking, then I do think you either should create one or join whatever does exist and build from there. But yeah.
So can I share just one?
No, just real quick. Like, you made me think of so John Johnson in Ebony Magazine, they tried to press Medgar and try to get him to talk about that more radical side, and they said that he was intentionally deceptive with some of the media. So, for instance, he said he studied the Mau Mau while he was in the military because he had to, but what he was radicalized after leaving the military. And so that just gave me more ammo of why you should have gone hard at John Johnson, because he was always into some shit. But go ahead, Dion.
No, well, I was just like, I always think about, you know, it's an old but still very relevant pamphlet here where Sundiata talks about the combined above and underground. This is from the section, the negative aspects of the Black Panther Party contribution. And he says the most serious and structural flaw of the Black Panther Party, in the Black Panther Party members who function openly in BPP offices or organize openly in the community by day very well have been the same people who carried out armed operations at night. And then he went on to explain how that put the above ground, it's not even about you as the individual taking the appropriate, justified, and heroic actions. It's about how your actions reverberate through your organization, upwards and downwards. So And we know that the fascists are cowards. So they're not going to come at you. They're going to come at the vulnerable people around you. That's how they have always operated. So
Right.
I truly do understand. It's just, I think in terms of as long as we've been engaged in ongoing struggle, I think these tactics should be more refined at this stage of our struggle. And I'm not even criticizing or faulting Medgar Evers. I'm just saying that we should learn the entire lessons in honor of Medgar Evers. We honor them by learning from their mistakes as well as their heroic actions and stances.
Speaking of Medgar Evers, do y'all know who Daisy Bates is? I'm sure y'all remember Daisy Bates. But this made me go back into Negroes with Guns, because so Daisy Bates was pretty famous at the time, and she would go on record to denounce Robert F. Williams' efforts to protect Black women and protect the Black community with guns. And the ironic thing was, in Negroes with Guns, they said that in order for her to speak, she got compensated $700 a month in advertisement in her newspaper so that she could afford armed security. So she was denouncing that they should be using guns to protect Black people, so she can get paid to get protected by a nigga with gun. But so I thought it was pretty interesting.
But obviously the clear difference is paying security to defend yourself against a white supremacist attacker is different than arming yourself and aggressing upon that white supremacist attacker. I think that would be how she would have tried to walk that thread, you know, through the needle or whatever, needle through the thread or whatever people say. But yeah, no, it is. I mean, but again, the point is, and she's just leaning in one to it. There's supposed to be a monopoly of violence. So only one side is allowed to use it. So if you're going to have guns around you, it has to be from paid legal security that's there to defend your individual person, not as an aggressive unit attacking your oppressor.
Right. So I don't remember who quoted it, and it might have been Ebony, but what do you think about, as you just said that, Jared, when people can now conflate Medgar Evers' words? For instance, when they talked about he had an restraint and he had accountability due to NAACP national leadership, and his understanding of spontaneous and reactionary violence could retard the movement. So I can't remember if it was in Ebony, but what do you think about the reduction or the framing of, like, oh, he talked about spontaneous and reactionary violence, and that's gonna mess up the movement or whatever? But again, like, having guns in your house is
well, yeah, let me just say this, because just quickly, because what I think of is that on the one hand, there is going to be a specific way of addressing oneself to popular media. But really, I think what I think of when my first thought was, when you asked that question, is that what Diallo just demonstrated is what does not happen and what we should be doing more of. There is no sustained study, first of all, of Medgar Evers. There's no institutional, so nobody gets that unless they create it for themselves, or it is created for them at some, not even a university, not even in grad school. So and then to do it in conjunction with, to do it in the context of a discussion of armed struggle, relating it to the work of a Coley and the BLA, never happens. So I think what Diallo just demonstrated was actually very important, and what needs to happen more often in more sustained ways, so that we can evolve our understanding and analysis and see what comes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's reactionary violence. A revolutionary does not engage in reactionary violence. They can engage in revolutionary violence, and if it's not organized and sustained, then it's retaliatory violence. But the reactionary violence is the violence to suppress people's just movements. So when you act to suppress people who are taking up arms to defend themselves, to defend their ecosystems, those are the people, the police and the military, the imperial forces, the racist, the armed racist and right-wing factions are reactionary violence. So retaliatory violence, or what Neely Fuller calls maximum emergency compensatory justice. The only inappropriate violence an oppressed person can engage in is violence that targets, exploits, or compounds the harm directly on another oppressed person. So ascending violence is when someone low on the status quo engages in actions, takes actions against someone higher on the status quo, as opposed to descending violence is not reactionary. We just have to be accurate with these terms, because the terms help us to grasp an understanding. And right. and what Malcolm talking about, we'll be celebrating people we should condemn, and condemn people we should be celebrating if we don't properly identify what they're doing and define and the meaning, attribute the proper meaning to what they're doing. Semantics does matter. So Medgar Evers, whether he advocated or took up arms, could not be involved in reactionary violence. It was retaliatory and defensive or revolutionary violence.
Right. So what?
But just quickly, but I think in the context that Geechee initially brought that up, the term reactionary just means anti-revolutionary, as opposed to reacting to. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of I don't know, critiques or even like you said, lessons bringing forward. I don't know, in your study, would you conclude that he had the intentions of winning over white liberals? Because that's kind of the approach of, like, we can't, scare the white people and we can't be considered red. But so would you say that's one of the, critiques, or would you say that you don't even think that was his intention? He's more so trapped in said organization, and those were the limitations of organization. So again, when you think of Robert F. Williams, he became NAACP leadership because everybody else kind of quit, and him and some other people who came from the war who was radicalized, they took it over and radicalized it, and then Thurgood Marshall and everybody else started condemning him. You know about Malcolm, and then obviously Medgar. So would you say that you wouldn't think that he actually believed that he needed to win over white liberals? Because again, his conversations with his wife didn't prove that that's actually what he was doing. It was more so.
I don't know, because I'm one of the many who suffer the lack of an institutional study of Evers in his life. So I don't know enough to know what it would make sense. If you're working within the confines of the NAACP, you have to address yourself on some level to white liberals and white foundations and money. The same thing happens. I mean, I think people are often surprised, even in today's world, how often there's an overlap between what people think are. I mean, we're going to get to a conservative version later in the show, but what people think of as Black progressive or even radical outlets, organizations, and their relationship to white liberals and liberal money, and so on and so forth. So, so in general, I wouldn't be mad at that. It would be, I mean, it could be argued that when the BLA linked up with, well, these weren't liberals, but they linked up with some white comrades to do some things here and there, that is in some way itself an appropriation of resources from the white community. But so, I mean, on some level, there's going to have to be, or I wouldn't say have to be, but there's a logic to it. So if that's what was going on, I wouldn't necessarily be mad at that.
Diallo, any thoughts on that?
I think we also I think that there's been we talk about the liberals, but there's the NAACP was actually in open conflict with the white left. And the NAACP had always, from its inception, battled accusations of being pinko or communist. And if you go back all the way back to the Scottsboro Boys and other cases, the NAACP, the white left, would move in on a issue concerning segregation, Jim Crow, and the NAACP would swoop in to try to subvert and expel the white left. So the NAACP's relationship with whites is very, it's not simple. So in terms of trying to recruit, most Black revolutionaries and Black revolutionary organizations have always been in dialogue, coordination, and contact with the white left. But often the relationships you will find, as even with modern organizations, you'll find prominent Black individuals or organizations will waffle between white liberals and white conservatives because the line is extremely blurred. And by and large, the white liberal and the white conservatives have a lot in common. And often they want the exact same outcomes. They just have different tactics and strategies and varying levels of intensity on how they want to reach the same goals. So I think it would be more appropriate to say the NAACP as an organization always courted the white liberals, but also white conservatives, but has been in open conflict with the white left, anarchists, communists, socialists, have always been condemned, expelled, and even sought to make sure that the white left never played any significant role or had any real contact with any legitimate Black organizations.
Right. So you just queued this up perfectly, right? So on this clip, you have Biden's the Democrat Party's show pony, and she actually on the Breakfast Club start talking about how as the Democratic Party they do the same work, but they do it better, right? And you hear some shots at the left too.
Did you message?
My bad.
All right, go ahead.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Because you message very well. Right.
But I have legal principles that I have to translate. And so I had to know like what the law was, but I couldn't talk to you in legalese. I had to be able to translate for you. And be so one of my best friends from law school, and in law school, we have this dictionary called the Black's Law Dictionary. And so when we were in law school, he'd be like, yo, I don't understand what happened in class. I need you to give me the Black's Law version. And so I'd be like, so when your cousin Pookie, like I would break it down.
I just listen to people like you said. Like I've repeated things that I've heard and seen activists in Chicago talking about in regards to, the border. What I've heard and seen people here in New York talking about when it comes to, immigration. So it's like, I'm repeating what the people are saying.
Yeah.
You can't chalk that up as MAGA messaging.
No,
like, no.
We have to do our part. We have to educate. We have to communicate. It costs a lot of money for us to communicate. You got to spend millions and millions of dollars to get on cable TV, to get on broadcast TV, to get on radio. You have to do a lot to communicate to people, to send mail. You don't have to do as much to do it on social media, but it takes a lot. This is your vote. If I'm out there telling you to vote for me, I'm not going to tell you the bad stuff about me. I'm going to just sell myself to you.
We know that's in her. If you ever sat down with the VP, you know that's in her.
No, the VP, she's got it. And obviously she was a trial lawyer as well. And she's a Black woman. So like she's got, because she is the first of her kind. And because there were people that went out and said, I'm voting because they wanted to vote for her.
I was one of them.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that did that. So I think that people want more of her than like the actual role allows for or calls for at time. And I think that unfortunately, just like almost everything in Black folks' lives and definitely in Black women's lives, so much more is expected of us. And I don't want us to do that to her. I do want us to allow her to be a traditional vice president, which is a supporting cast member. But at the same time, I know that she recognizes that we are all rooting for her, which means that we want to see her. We want to hear from her because there were people that showed up and voted because she was on the ticket.
I was one of them. I never said I was voting for President Biden. I said I was voting because of Kamala Harris. I always said that.
Now, I can't say what's going to happen 4 years from now, but I can say that, like, when you look at being responsible, when you look at the Black wealth gap, actually, finally starting to close it up a little bit. We still are nowhere near where we need to be. When you look at the amount of debt that has been relieved from Black folks, specifically when it comes to student loan debt, when you look at the fact that this president has been on the picket lines and making sure that those in Detroit and any other place where there are they are manufacturing cars, and he is fighting with them to make sure that they get higher wages. When you look at the fact that, my granny, she has sugar diabetes, as they used to call it, right? Making sure that people can actually afford their life-saving medications. I can tell you that not everything in this world has been fixed, but I can tell you that there's one team that is fighting every single day to make this world better. And there's another team that literally wants to delete our humanity. But that was this administration that was saying, hey, we're going to give you this child tax credit. It cut African-American child poverty into half, right? But then the Republicans ended up in control of the House, and they like, yeah, so we not about that life. But their constituents in rural America needed it too. So we did a little compromise of something. People need to recognize their power, and they need to start showing up and telling people, listen, you work for me, because that's what it is. Right. I serve at the pleasure of the people, and you need to start telling people what it is that you want and what it is that you need. And when they don't give it to you, vote them out. Like, that's just, it's very simple. And where people are like, yo, I just don't really feel like either party is doing anything for me. So what's the point, right? I do run into that type of conversation, but I don't run into a conversation where people are like, oh yeah, so I'm just going to go out and vote for Trump. Like, I see it online a little bit, but I feel like we don't know what's real and what's not, because we know that China, as well as Russia, have consistently tried to interfere with our elections by doing so much online. Wow. So I don't know how many of these accounts are real or not, but like, I have a majority Black district. When I go home, I'm not dealing with it. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna fight for you, and I can't fight for myself. That's right. So I'm not going to sit here and allow the likes of a Marjorie Taylor Greene to sit there and clown me. But I did try to go through the process, which is something that she ignored. She's always ignored the rules. I at least was trying to follow the rules, but once they failed, I still never got outside of the rules. But it's about doing what they are trying to do and doing it better and doing it right. And that's exactly what I did. And I think that the Democrats have all the intellect on our side, so we can always do it better and smarter. It's a matter of, are we going to? You have the truth. You might even be doing the right thing, but where is the courage to stand up to this new type of conservative called MAGA?
Who added those ad libs?
Which ad libs?
That were coming up.
Oh, me.
Thank you, Jared. Geechee wasn't going to admit it till you snitched.
Oh, you don't like my ad libs?
I didn't say I didn't like them. I just was wondering. It's don't want to be biased. We for full disclosure here.
Not everybody can be master debaters. Some are master editors.
If they work hard at it, if they sit down and just really put the time into it.
I can't find it. Wait, slow down. Where we at?
Pause.
Oh, Geechee y'all, what you gonna do when the BPM police come for you? I'm gonna be sitting here by myself next week.
Earn your Diallos, but only on. Yo, so y'all probably seen her when she made her viral moments, and Kai nailed it. Elected influencers, because after that she started selling her t-shirt and I'm coming for you boo type shit. But anyway,
wait a minute on her Wikipedia page she got money from Sam Bankman-Fried's cryptocurrency pack.
Seriously?
That's what it is. Hold on a second. That's what it says. I don't know. I'm just saying, this is Jasmine Crockett, right?
Yeah.
So it says Crockett also received extensive financial support from super PACs aligned with the cryptocurrency industry, with Sam Bankman-Fried's Protect Our Future PAC giving $1 million in support of her campaign.
Yo, I think she's gonna make. So again, I told you before, Diallo. I'm not Diallo.
But hey, but hey, I don't want to contradict myself. I just said we got to be willing to take money from the whites.
But anyway, so I think she's gonna usher in what Asafo prophesied, that Black Girl Magic is gonna end up being a COINTELPRO operation, and I think she's gonna bring it into being. But she's known for having this.
Again. Get that man his credit. That was too fast.
Yeah,
that was
Asafo was saying like he's almost positive that we're gonna find out that Black Girl Magic was a COINTELPRO operation, and I think she's gonna usher that in. But she's known for her viral moment of calling Marjorie, whatever the lady name is, a bad body or some bad body.
Yeah, bad built butch body.
Yeah. You know, so
she said, because Marjorie said something about somebody's highlights or something. Didn't she say something about somebody's
blonde, bad built butch body?
Damn. So I mean, she made it. She made her viral moments, and now she's selling T-shirts, and she's elected official or elected influencer, like Kai says. But she's still on the.
When have elected officials not been influencers? My grandfather had a.
Well, I think it's a different influence.
Like this is creeping into the. If a black woman do it, all of a sudden we want to pretend like, oh, these hot girl, city girl. Listen, politicians since I would go back as far as Woodrow Wilson, back when he was kind of the start of the professional politician. It used to be politicians were actually estate owners and elites who would go there. But in the era of the career politician, like I said, my great grandfather, Sonic's Bowie, had merch. Didn't have, so you use these new terminologies. So when especially black women start to do the same shit that white politicians been doing for over a century, because black women's presence in politics at that level is relatively new. Now we're going to start using these demeaning terms. When I could go get you a Clinton Gore t-shirt and I feel your pain, and Clinton Gore playing saxophone on Arsenio Hall show, and wasn't nobody using these influencer and these demeaning terms. So politicians have always done this. Black women, they want to pretend like, oh, black women being ghetto every time a sister does something. So I have my criticisms. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like black women are bringing some new element to U.S. politics or hood or ghetto or influencer and diminish these people in that way. Oh, black women get into something and it gets this. Politicians have always produced merch, always had these empty, vacuous slogans. Remember George Bush, compassionate conservatism. I'm a compassionate conservative. And now George Bush, another genocider, is painting pictures of landscapes and horses and acting like he's an elder statesman. So this type of influencer, if you don't call George Bush, if you ain't calling Dwight D. Eisenhower, if you don't call happy birthday, Mr. President, y'all act like black politicians the first people to bring celebrities. Remember Marilyn Monroe singing happy birthday, Mr. President. This shit is not new, and it's not black people. Let's not go there.
So I would agree, but I also know that this is kind of wild, because any of those black folks that trotted out in front gets the same type of treatment. But, and I think Kai said Dr. CBS probably coined it, I do think there's a difference. So for instance, like the social media influencers, social media is kind of a newer thing. I'm not saying that
you don't think if social media existed when Theodore Roosevelt was running for president.
You talking over me is not gonna let me finish though. You already said you already got your rocks off. Now let me respond.
Whoa, pause.
Got your rocks off. Let me respond.
Pause.
So I do think there's a particular type of way that people show up as an influencer on social media, and Again, I don't know that obviously these people are doing these things, but the Black Girl Magic tagline is very intentional and very strong. And if these people, again, because if you critique them, you do get called misogynistic and all these other things because of their black.
No, you only get called misogynistic when you do misogynistic. This ain't no motherfucking influencer shit. Motherfucking presidential candidate riding.
But you're missing the point. Nobody's not saying that he's not an influencer though, Diallo. I don't know what you.
Nobody would ever call this dude an influencer. Come on, this motherfucking presidential candidate riding the moose,
bro,
and across, and it's photoshopped.
Beyond that, guy's an influencer. That guy's an influencer. That guy's an influencer. Barack is an influencer.
Social media, all media is social. So they just use what was available at that time. So we're not even going to play. We're not even going to play this. Oh, well, in this era, this shit has always happened. Politicians have always been on this shit. It is not unique to new politicians. It's not unique to black politicians. It's not unique to black women politics. And I'm not getting my rocks off. This is just we can't engage in this behavior. She's not a hot girl. That mayor. They're calling her the city girl mayor. And there's a difference between a black politician who is trying to be down or like, for instance, just like, let me finish. The same as Barack play basketball people and got a jump shot, and you talk about the jump shot, my president black or whatever. There's a way that he's pushed in the community as if like now he's credible, he's whatever. But in all, what he will have is white talking points, the same rhetoric, anti-communist, whatever. They're doing the same thing. But that thing doesn't get seen because, again, of the promotion of maybe Black Boy Joy, Black Girl Magic, or this person who's down or cool. So the guy who riding the moose, he's not convincing black people that he for the black people because they going after the majority white vote.
Okay, then. So we're not talking about them right now.
But we gonna use the same language and the same standards because they're in the same.
Of course, he's an influencer. Bush is an influencer. Yes, sure.
And talk about black people as
this is Black Power Media, White Power Media.
Dysfunctional, or we're uniquely manipulated. George W. Bush was born to a white New England elite family, and in order to be president, he went to Texas and put on a cowboy hat and lived on the land.
Wait, stop! I don't get this shit. Who the fuck did I interrupt? How did I he interrupt me every time I talk?
We're not gonna do this because if you go,
this is some wild shit.
Google George Bush Ranch and see George sitting on the back of a truck drinking a beer. You got Ben Shapiro, another Ivy League Jewish guy down in Texas in cowboy hats and cowboy boots, acting like he's a good old boy. All I'm saying is we can criticize this. But we're not going to talk about Black Girl Magic in this because that ain't that. It's not that. This is politics. This is mass manipulation. And all politicians use the media that was available to them to play this game. And I've been seeing not just you, Geechee, but everybody want to, from Kamala Harris and all this. Yeah, Kamala Harris put on pearls and chucks. George Bush put on a cowboy hat. Let's criticize it. But we're not going to act like call this hot girl, city girl, a Black Girl Magic. We're not going to do it that way.
But who did that?
Criticize manipulation of the masses and try to relate. Yeah, we can criticize it, but we're not going to couch it in black rhetoric or black lingo to make it look like black people are uniquely pathological or bringing something new to the game. Which
I'm saying, but who did that? Who did that? Because who did that? Because I clipped later from the representative from South Carolina. Is he's saying it's the same wild shit. So, but who act like white people don't influence white politics? Who did that?
May I say something?
Absolutely.
So just quickly, Diallo, you are right, but that's because you created your own argument against which to struggle. I didn't hear Geechee saying any of that. What we're doing on this entire program is calling out the specific forms of exactly what you're talking about that target black people. So it's not to say at least I didn't hear Geechee saying this is only happening among black people and black women. I'm hearing him saying Black Girl Magic as applied to people like this woman here confuses the target audience of Black people who are meant to be roped in by an advertising and marketing campaign or a psychological warfare campaign to see what she is doing as something good for the Black community, when what in fact she's doing is parroting white political talking points. So that's all I see that we're doing here. So Black Girl Magic.
Did we not do this last week?
No, but
you didn't hear him refer to her wearing the T-shirt with the beach blonde, bad built butch body on it. You didn't hear those parts.
I said she's selling. I said she's selling T-shirts.
Yes.
And I actually didn't pay attention to T-shirt. I saw somebody said something about T-shirt in the chat. But week,
she's leaning. Wait. But just she's leaning in to a moment she helped create to help to add substance to her effort as a symbolic.
What that got to do with being okay?
So
y'all listen.
You said what that got to do with who?
Well, she mentioned
because last week.
So Black Girl Magic and Black Excellence are advertising campaigns. They're marketing products. These are not Black radical contributions.
Because what I would have liked to talk to, because she spoke about debt relief. She talked about the Biden support for the union and the union movement, claiming he was on the front lines. She talked about what is that? Negotiations with foreign leaders. She talked about some specific policies that she claimed were Democratic policies to help the masses of the people.
And what is that doing for the Democratic Party?
She talked about drug price reduction. And when we listen to these politicians, and she talked about Black people and the political position we should take in understanding, none of that got touched on. It was immediately, oh, she's an influencer, that this Black Girl Magic was going to be co-opted by the CIA. But
wait, Diallo, that was the point though. So at least as I understood it, that's the point, because what she's saying, she is there to market the Democratic Party, to brand them as something we should support by raising these issues.
Yes.
So these are the white political elite talking points. So no,
they all do.
But Diallo, what I'm hearing, if I may finish, what I'm hearing, that's true too. But what I'm hearing is that what is happening is she is presenting herself under the umbrella of Black excellence, Black Girl Magic, Black womanhood, Black radicalism as that, when in fact she is simply marketing the Democratic Party with their talking points made specific for the Black community. As if we saw the Latino version talking to a Latino audience, they would be doing the same thing, and so on down the line. So that's it. It wasn't to say this is specific. I don't want to keep giving anonymous. Personally, I'm over giving people who can't even acknowledge who they are in these spaces, giving this much space to their criticism. So I'm if you want to be anonymous as your right in public, that's fine. But I don't need to address you because I don't even know if you're engaging in good faith at this point.
So editing the video. Real quick, editing the video, I intentionally edit the part and allow her to read off those stats that she claimed that the Democratic Party has achieved as highlighting the contradiction. And then you can go into each of those policies and show that no, this is not happening. Rather, it's the wealth gap.
I guess I just jumped the gun, huh?
I mean, I don't know what you think you just did.
I think you made a really good point that no one here was arguing against. That's all I'm saying.
I have in my notes when she talked about the vice president trying to justify Kamala Harris's and the powerless vice president. I was going to talk about Dick Cheney and other vice presidents that started campaigns and virtually ran the White House, and that the Black vice president is not a passive position. So she told that bold-faced lie. I get her on that. I said Black women's plight co-opted by whites and race traders because of the compounding oppression suffered by Black women. And then when Black women align with our oppressors and enemies, and then try to use their Black womanhood to give cover to our oppressors and enemies, thus exploiting the justified struggles and stances of Black women. I have that in my notes. My only issue is, and I like name calling, I like criticism. I'm not going to say it, but thank goodness I'm so happy I'm wrong. This was not descending into some criticism of black girl magic and criticism of a black woman engaged in shit white boys been doing all along. But we're gonna
I am critical of black girl magic.
Yeah, there's a criticism of black girl magic very easily.
Did she say black girl magic?
No. We're talking
If she
the bad body comment,
I'd be willing to do that, but I didn't hear the woman say nothing about black girl magic.
So
any prominent black woman does anything, they want to say, "Oh, black girl magic." I have my own criticisms of black girl magic.
Public
I did a whole
about
essay
her
on black girl tragic, but she didn't say nothing about black girl magic.
Wow, Diallo,
Diallo.
The
That's
audience
like when a black man shows up and they start saying,
so Diallo
yo, and
create an argument and then talk through everybody else.
Let me tell you something. So let me tell you something. So the woman who became the first nuclear engineer, she didn't say anything about black girl magic when she talked about developing a new bomb. But when they got a hold to it, they're like, look at black girl magic, a black woman leading blah blah blah. So it's not for the person who's being talked. Let me finish. Let me finish.
That's what
Diallo,
you did. Look
Diallo,
at
your team always get mad when we interrupt you, but you do all the interrupting, to be honest with you. Anyway, so the black girl magic spear or propaganda media joint captured her and say, boom. So when she start talking about bad body, whatever, that's literally into the black girl magic ecosphere. She's being celebrated as saying, oh, she stuck it to him, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at her freaking politics, the shit is shit. It's the same shit as the Democratic. So that when she becomes, again, just like your boy we covered last week, the one who start talking about the motherfucker and all this stuff, and he the radical person. We did this last week. You ain't say nothing about that. We did the same thing last week.
There was no. When we go back and watch that show, when we were criticizing that dude, we didn't say nothing about, oh, here come these hood cats. Oh, he's an influencer. Didn't nobody call him an influencer? Didn't nobody say nothing about black boy joy? When we criticized the brother last week, we looked at his specific points. We looked at his specific stances. There was no type of gendered or even demeaning. We criticized and even mocked and went at him, but it was none of that gender specific type shit that I saw emerging here. But
Diallo, wait a minute. That's complete. Wait.
The people can watch for themselves.
Diallo, wait.
This is cute.
Wait, Diallo. This is. I think you've again done another wonderful job of creating an argument nobody else is making, and then accurately knocking it down. Except that we did do that almost every week. We are talking about mostly black men who are, whether we call them the word influencer or not, are placed as influencers, and we make fun of them and their messaging and their politics. We just did a whole thing addressing ourselves to the manosphere, to the whole black engagement with white supremacist patriarchy. And we do that almost in a version almost every week. This was a discussion specifically, as I heard it, of this woman playing into and being welcomed into the very white corporate creation of black girl magic, black excellence, and all of that, which is meant to be a false representation of black collective progressive politics, when in fact it is just Democratic Party politics dressed up. So this was not something specific targeting her in any different way. It was that she was the one that played the role on the Breakfast Club in this instance.
She didn't claim to be the radical left either. She didn't claim to be the radical left.
I'm going to go back and watch this segment and last week when we were that other race trader status quo integrationist politician. I'm going to look for keywords such as influencer, such as black boy joy.
He literally just said we didn't use it. We didn't say the word influence.
But if anything, what you're calling out is the wait. If anything, you're calling out the patriarchy in marketing, to the extent that there isn't an equivalent to black girl magic other than black excellence that targets black men.
There is.
It's not really. Black boy joy is not even that.
Black
I'm
men
not even aware.
Black men have been subjected to this longer than black women have, because black men have been integrated and elevated into
Again, that's not what I just said. I was talking about a particular. Talking about a particular advertising marketing phrase. Now you just moved the goalposts again. All right, never mind.
The indirect sideways racism that comes.
But that's not what I said. Please, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Nobody said that. I just made a specific comment about a marketing phrase that is the equivalent popular form of black girl magic. I'm not aware of one existing for men other than what I just used. Again, I'm not aware of that being the equivalent in popularity to black girl magic. I use the word. I use the word manosphere or black manosphere, which I do think would be the closest equivalent just a moment ago. But I think that again is not really the point here. That's really not the point. The point is we're debating
manosphere when talking about dude last week and attribute that to him.
Who?
Honestly, I don't even remember.
Well, isn't the manosphere particular? But I'm saying you're just throwing shit. You're just throwing shit to see if it's stick at this point. Because the what does manosphere got to do with his politics if manosphere is a particular thing?
Different than the hordes of white male politicians that.
But that would be exactly the point. That's exactly what we're saying. But Diallo, what we're doing is saying that we're making that exact point. We're saying she's not doing anything different than all these others have done. She's just doing it under the particular labeling of black girl magic and this new phrase.
So according to Diallo, it sounds like black girl.
So Diallo, wait a minute. You're introducing something new to us. In all the meetings we've had publicly and privately, I'm not aware that you've thought we've had a consistent issue with our approach to gender and womanhood.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like, because you keep asking if we've ever done something.
But what I said was in this particular segment,
you completely. This is wild.
But go ahead and show me the male politicians.
I can see why he's doing it, though. I can see what he's doing.
We target the male politicians every week. What are you talking about?
So it sounds like Diallo saying
we call them worse.
Black girl magic.
Wait a minute. We sit here and co-sign. We sit here and co-sign you. Wait a minute. Now you're saying we should call her worse. You're saying we sit here and co-sign you calling people all kinds of traitors and coons and sellouts. And these are mostly men. And then all we do is make a reference. All that is apparently made. I didn't even really hear what Geechee said apparently about influencer, but all that is made here is a reference to influencer and black girl magic. And this is somehow misogynoir. Come on, man.
Here's what's very interesting. Let me finish something. Let me say something real quick.
I'm talking to you.
Diallo, can I say something real quick?
You're not talking to us. You're not listening to us. You're not talking to us. You're not referring to anything that we're saying. You're talking to your own created argument.
No, I think this is important. I think this is important what Diallo's trying to do, right? So for two things, and let me finish this. It sounds like Diallo is saying that. Let me finish, Diallo. Can I please finish, bro? Can I finish?
Your turn for your rocks off now?
Can I? Yeah, sure. Good job.
I was close to my rocks, but I didn't.
All right. Well, now let me get mine off. So
but you interrupt my rocks, but go ahead, get your rocks now.
So you sound like you are conflating black girl magic and the passport bros, because or like you said, the manospheres. But I wonder if you think it was misogynistic towards. At our live show in Baltimore, there was Islam brother and there was a Christian sister, and you didn't respond to them the same way. So would that be misogynoir, or would that be like could you speak to one person because she's a woman, and the other person is because he's a man, and you was that any of that? It might be weak, but I'm just curious because it's like you interacted with those two people differently.
You want an answer, or are you just trying to put some bullshit out?
No, you asked me a question and I'm trying to respond.
So do you want me to answer the question?
Absolutely, please do.
Bullshit? The answer to your question if you thought so, why just today? That's my question to you.
No, today when you brought this shit up, so I'm trying to figure out if
it's on tape.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so. I'm asking the question.
If you would go back to the tape.
Oh man.
I responded to the claims and assertions, and you'll find that when the Muslim brother made statements about arguing in public and criticizing people in public, I challenged him on every point he made. He never told me to shut up. He never threw and damaged our equipment. And even when the other person told me to shut up. Oh, I'm not finished. Do you want an answer to your question? Because it's on tape. So you just played yourself with this little petty, with this little.
No, I'm asking you a simple question. I'm asking you a simple question.
If you go back, you'll find that the way I responded to both of the religious fanatics was the same, but their response to my retort was different. So their responses were different. My responses was consistent with the Muslim man and the Christian Christo-fascist woman. And they came up,
see what I mean?
Which is why, even though it was the most hollow, shallow, vacuous, retracted apology I ever had in my life, I never offered an apology. I never offered a retraction. But the sister offered an apology. So you want to tell her that she shouldn't have apologized?
So wait a minute.
Would you tell her that you shouldn't have apologized since now you're asserting that I was doing what you are? And
wait a minute. Diallo, you're going to have to stop at some point.
Why don't you go to her and say, hey, you shouldn't have apologized?
Diallo started with an initial mistake. Geechee, that didn't help either. I don't think that was an appropriate response.
My bad.
I'm not even. This is disappointing. I'm disappointed in all of us this morning. We started off. I thought we were headed in the appropriate direction of making fun of. We didn't even get to make fun of old boy saying he voted for Biden for Kamala Harris. I don't. Yeah, I'm not enjoying this part right here. So I don't. And. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what else to say other than I would like either for us to move on or wrap up the show for the week, because I don't want to do another extended, or I'll just wrap myself up. I don't want to really participate in another one of these. I think all of this was all of this was disingenuous. So yeah.
Nobody.
And yeah. Oh. And I, so
all right. Well, anyway, so there's the I don't know if y'all want to play that Nigel Cullins video.
Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Let's do this real quick.
It's time for our next segment right here on Earn Your Liberation.
Actually, yeah, let's go here then. Let's go to the Ukraine being the gold mine joint. Oh, well, you already got the clip. I mean, you already got the link.
Well, yeah, I got the link.
I did put a clip together for that too. It's a really quick one.
Well, where is it?
I'm about to send it to you right now, brother. Slow down.
Well, I mean, you sending me this one and promoting the other one.
Well, that's not a video, but just go ahead, bro.
So stay with this one?
Nah.
Or wait for you to send me this clip.
Wait for this one. All right. All these buttons. But so this is
everybody, while he's doing this, just like, share, subscribe, support our Patreon in the show description, and put this show on your socials.
So this is South Carolina's Lindsey Graham. Talking about how we can't
violent crime.
we can't afford not to steal from.
Most of all, for us to go after the Russian assets all over the world, take the money from the sovereign wealth funds of Russia and give it to Ukraine. There's $300 billion sitting in Europe from Russian sovereign wealth assets that we should seize and give to Ukraine. We have Russian money in America we should seize. We should make Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law. When I suggested that to President Zelensky, he lit up like a Christmas tree. Making Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law would be a very big blow to Russia.
Right. I don't know that the Biden administration would sign off.
But if we went after the assets.
All right.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't it?
Nah.
I thought it was re-looped.
No, he said it a couple times.
Oh, my bad.
You missed the good part.
Okay.
For us to go after the Russian assets all over the world,
it's never a problem.
take the money from the sovereign wealth funds of Russia and give it to Ukraine. There's $300 billion sitting in Europe from Russian sovereign wealth assets that we should seize and give to Ukraine. We have Russian money in America we should seize. We should make Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law. When I suggested that to President Zelensky, he lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Making Russia a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law would be a very big blow to Russia.
Right. I don't know that the Biden administration would sign off.
But if we went after the assets that Putin has all over the world, take his money that's stolen from the Russian people and help the victims in Ukraine, I think it would end this war.
Your Republican colleague, Senator Tommy Tuberville, just this past week said on Steve Bannon's show that Volodymyr Zelensky is a dictator and unconstitutional. And he said this about Vladimir Putin.
He doesn't want Ukraine. He doesn't want Europe. Hell, he's got enough land of his own. He just wants to make sure that he does not have United States weapons in Ukraine pointing at Moscow.
Those echo some Russian talking points, Senator. I wonder if those remarks from your fellow senator represent the GOP.
You don't know what he's talking about.
No, it represents him and him alone. If you spend 15 minutes studying Putin and what he wants to recreate the Russian Empire. He's not going to stop in Ukraine. We celebrated the 80th anniversary of D-Day. It was a failure. It was the unnecessary war described by Winston Churchill. We had a dozen chances to stop Hitler. It's not about NATO. It's not about American weapons in Ukraine. It's about a megalomaniac wanting to create the Russian Empire by force of arms. If you don't stop him, there goes Taiwan. So we've been slow as hell of helping Ukraine, but Senator Tuberville's analysis really misses what Putin's all about. He's an outlier, I think, in the Republican Party. I like him personally. But what did Trump do to get the weapons flowing? He created a loan system. They're sitting on $10 to $12 trillion of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country in all of Europe. I don't want to give that money. And those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now, they can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of. That $10 to $12 trillion of critical mineral assets could be used by Ukraine and the West, not given to Putin and China. This is a very big deal how Ukraine ends. Let's help them win a war we can't afford to lose. Let's find a solution to this war, but they're sitting on a gold mine to give Putin $10 or $12 trillion of critical minerals that he will share with China is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
wanted most of all
is that
Lindsey
go after the Russian assets all over the world.
So Lindsey Graham and his granddaddy or daddy, what I keep calling him Storm Thurmond. Is it Strong Thurmond?
Strong. Man, you better get your white supremacists right. Plus, he had a black daughter.
Oh.
That father of black children.
We used to call him Storm.
I wouldn't acknowledge her either.
Now see, what's that? You gonna call her a coon?
And don't go back over there. Don't go back over there. Let's stay over here.
Allow me to tell you.
No, we're okay. We don't need to know. Let's stay here.
Strom Thurmond was one of the most. He was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the filibuster,
and that's Biden's homeboy.
Open and prominent proponent of all racial injustices and white hegemony, and served in the Congress longer than any other congressman. And this black woman, at any point in our history, had the opportunity to pull a plug on this motherfucker. And she chose to be loyal to Strom Thurmond and sat back over decades and watched Strom Thurmond relentlessly attack the black collective and didn't do a goddamn thing. when she could have had one press conference and derailed one of the most overtly racist and vicious and powerful politicians in the United States with one statement and one sentence and one thing, and she didn't do it. And she watched him do it over and over and over again over decade after decade after decade, and she protected that racist. So if that ain't a coon, please tell me what is. If that ain't a coon, tell me what is, because I don't know. Maybe my understanding and comprehensions.
Charlie Brown's teacher again. So anyway, y'all think about the this idea of stealing money that was stolen from Russians to give to Ukrainians, not to give back to the Russian people, but he said, let's steal the money, let's freeze all the money, sanction everything. They already sanctioned half of the damn world, and let's give it back to the Ukrainian people. And then he talked about like this idea of the Republicans. Donald Trump, he did the right thing by giving them a loan so that he can kind of keep his business interests intact. But yeah, so any thoughts about the $12 million of minerals?
Trillion.
I would tell the comedian president, the social media influencer president of Ukraine, that the Republicans, because you see how Lindsey Graham was a staunch anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, and became one of the biggest defenders of MAGA. So Graham would turn on Zelensky like a rattlesnake. So if he think he got a friend in a goddamn Republican, spineless, and they switch up, they don't stand for shit at all. They think personal accountability and standards is for colored folks. They don't adhere to nothing. Or as Professor Mackey's grandma would always say, the bugger got no shame. So if Trump takes the next election cycle, MAGA takes the next election cycle, those same congressmen are going to be aggressively and unapologetically pro-Russia and turn on Ukraine. So that's the thing in terms of the geopolitics. They don't stand.
And Ben Norton, shout out to his again, good work here. This is not, as they point out, with Zelensky's permanent presidency, basically, that even the U.S. has former diplomats saying Ukraine sure doesn't look like a democracy anymore. So all of this in defense of democracy and freedom, only for that 12 trillion, and the fight over all the natural gas and all the other minerals and all the other kind of stuff. So yeah. I mean, that's
and the curious thing about a lot of that, a lot of time we think the U.S. goes to war to take resources. Often the U.S. goes to wars to stop resources from hitting the market, because if there is an abundance of rare earth and phosphorus and minerals and things of that nature, it will depress the price. So the United States engage in as much suppression of resources as it does exploitation. So a lot of times the control of resources doesn't just mean extraction and distribution. It often means keeping that shit off the market so that and to create artificial scarcity in order to protect the institutional investors and the multinational corporations they run. Mm-hmm. So don't get confused if you think, well, if the U.S. wins in its proxy war, then we're going to have this deluge of minerals, and maybe that might bring relief to some other exploited regions where these same minerals are exploited. That doesn't always mean the same. Remember, they also found several $1 trillion in minerals in Afghanistan. So that's the thing about this system of capitalism. We look at the money extraction aspect and the profit driving access, but we don't talk enough about the artificial scarcity. From keeping unemployment rates artificially high to making abundant resources seem to be scarce, that also are necessary for capitalism to sustain itself.
But is there any difference in messaging, be it the brother talking about not Hamas is a terrorist, or the sister just talking about how Russia and China meddle in our elections, and then this guy talking about Russia and China going to get together? And
they do.
They do what?
They do meddle in U.S. elections.
Oh, when did they do that? What did they do?
Well, here's the thing. I, for one, think that the United States is a global empire, and I don't respect the territorial integrity or sovereignty of an empire. I think once you go outside of your own limitations, then as a nation state, then you forfeit your rights. I think everybody should be allowed to vote in U.S. elections, but we see going all the way back. And here's the thing about foreign influence. You'll notice when Trump's running for president, they all talking about Russian influence. Back when Obama and Bill Clinton ran, they talked about, remember the Chinese nuns, the Confucianist spiritual and philosophers came over here and they claimed they were bringing money. There are foreign influence, Saudi money, sovereign wealth funds. The United States is a corrupt oligarchy. So yes, anybody with money and resources has the ability to impact and influence elections. And just when the opposing side that's out of power likes to highlight the winning side's influences, and then when the Republicans come to power, they're not going to be talking about influences, because when someone wins an election in the United States, it's because they won the people's vote and they're the popular leaders. So they don't like to bring up the influences. So the party that's out of power will talk about the influences of the party that's in power, while the party that's in power saying, no, we won by will of the people and the people love us. We have no influences but the people and God. So yes, every nation that got it. If I ran a small island nation, I would be seeking to impact U.S. political machinations. I think Black communities, I think anybody that's got any sense should be seeking to influence and impact U.S. politics and U.S. machinations, because the U.S. politics spill over into every aspect of the world and on the moon and on Mars, and it's deep down it's the Marianas Trench. So yes, there are various political influences that have varying degrees of success over varying political cycles. We don't have to pretend like the United States is not open to influence. It is.
So the Black left don't have these ideas on their own. They got it from China and Russia.
That's not what Diallo's saying. Diallo just took that silly tagline and then reverse engineered it. And
I've been called a Russian bot before for my ongoing criticisms of Obama and then his predecessor, Biden. I've been called a Russian bot. I've been told to move to Russia and all that shit. Just over the weekend, when I put on my nice suit and tie and rubbing elbows with class enemies, I was told if I hate this country so much over dinner, I should leave it. So I realized that, but that's not analysis. That's reactionary. That's surface thinking. That's people who are indoctrinated by the mainstream, whatever there are, or social media, as you or point out the influence of social media in the brain rot that infects so many people in relationship to politics. So yeah, I'm well aware of that as well. But we don't have to go to one side of the pendulum. One side of the pendulum, Russia controls America, China controls America. To the other side of the pendulum is like the United States has no foreign influences. A more balanced and accurate analysis makes more sense.
So the sister was being balanced when she said that they was meddling in our elections?
Now now you telling me to stop. Now you going now you going back. Nobody.
The influencer, Congresswoman, as you called her. Russia does interfere, but there's no denying that. It is documented. Even Putin has been caught speaking on his influence. So now what you have to assess is, do foreign nations, including Russia and China, seek to impact and influence the U.S. political structure? Absolutely. They'd be insane not to. And then we can discuss the varying degrees of success of that impact or failures of those. Does United States influence other nations? You think the United States is the only nation in the world engaged in influencing foreign?
Yeah. So again, we're not talking about influence as opposed to co-opting, stealing, and
then say those words. Then say the words. You said influence. Now we're saying co-opt.
Well, anyway, when they use meddling, that's how they use it. They're not using it as in like,
I'm using it accurate because they're not
like
us.
Talking about with you, of course, you use it.
They're not like us. We are not them. They're not like us. So again,
yeah. Q Kendrick. Can we talk about Jay-Z?
Yeah, let's go to Jay-Z
and move on, and then wrap it up with the FUBU.
FUBU.
I think this is the perfect way to end. I added that to the run sheet late.
I told you, man.
Yeah, he's too young. I know.
For us by you, how do I know? I saw some FUBU shoes the other day.
Yeah, you too young for that.
For
us by us.
Yeah, you've been around us long enough.
No, man. I know about FUBU.
Now.
You never wear no FUBU jeans. You don't.
No, he Googled it.
I've never worn FUBU.
I used to wear state property. Son.
Hold up. Let's get to that in a second. Let's go in order and in order of importance. So Jay-Z, a number of people asked me and us to cover this. This ain't it. Is the headline here? Pennsylvanians slam Jay-Z's Rock Nation for school voucher push by Jessica Corbett in Common Dreams. An out-of-state billionaire is pairing with a suburban. Exactly.
But they using terms against
and trying to destroy public education. Yep.
We finally made it, y'all.
As pro-public education groups plan a rally at the Pennsylvania State Capitol, educators and advocates on Friday criticized hip-hop icon Jay-Z's company Rock Nation over a campaign backing a proposed school voucher program in the Commonwealth. The campaign's Dine and Learn events in Philadelphia this month are intended to share information about the Pennsylvania Award for Student Success for Life Scholarships, as supporters also call them. If approved by state legislators in the next budget, the program would put tax dollars towards education opportunity accounts for certain families to send their children to K-12 private schools rather than low-performing public ones. So this is the old school voucher debate, rebranded, brought back, privatized school education. A number of, I think, unwitting Black nationalists and others have, I think, fallen into this. And, I think some are unwitting. Well, again,
they know not what they do. Come on, Jerry. You being
again, I try not.
Me and Geechee.
I don't like to judge intent if I don't have evidence. I try to judge the politics. So, and some I think, well, to be fair, yeah, you're right. Or whatever. Some of the hustling. In fact, I worked for some hustlers.
That's where the money resides.
Well, I would say I still do, but I worked for the 1 year I taught in public high school was a public charter school that was using public funds to privatize education, and they did get, I think, arrested, the people that ran the school, because it got shut down. People got, I think, arrested for misappropriating funds, and my students were the ones to first alert me to the scam, saying that because I kept asking, why are these folks never in homeroom? And my students were like, because they're not ever going to be in homeroom. They're there to get that money. It was, I forgot the number. It was, I don't know, $3,000 per student or whatever, whether you were actually there or not. And it went downhill from there. So my argument very quickly is, to the extent, this is sort of what I keep saying, even it's the educational equivalent to my argument around buying power. To the extent we're going to engage the state overtly, legally, on the basis of its claimed structures, we should be targeting a redistribution of what exists and not trying to play this game of fake catch up, where we privately and individually try to invest our way out of the problem. So and as it said in the article, a certain amount of people. So more public money is going to be taken away from the collective to go to a certain segment of the population that's going to get the privilege of going to these private schools. And then I would also say, having gone from the public school system to briefly even the private school system, and then and back and forth even in my own educational experience, I think there's a lot more that needs to be said in terms of sending a handful of Black kids into elite white private institutions. I don't always think this is the best way to make it work. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of trauma associated with that particular version of things. So I just, think to what extent that I'm not aware, or that it's not that those arguments are being considered, that needs to be part of the discussion. So why can't majority Black communities benefit from the trillions of dollars floating around in this country to have functioning, well-constructed, supported resource schools in their communities that the nation pays for? Why should a handful only get a few dollars from Jay-Z and his buddies to try to do this individually, to send some kids to some elite private institutions, or to even build a few even nice, decent, functioning Black ones? I don't even think so. That's it. That's where I'm at.
I'm frozen. I don't know if y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we see you.
Oh, you did freeze. I was like, yeah, he hadn't interrupted in so long.
Right, that's interesting. We need to be frozen more.
Yeah, you're right. The mic still works.
So no.
Hey,
take that
so
credit.
Jared, you mean to tell me when you leave Morgan, you're not gonna go start your charter school in Howard County?
I mean, if I do, it's because I'm trying to get paid. I'm trying to supplement all the money Morgan has not paid me all these years. So if I do, that's what it would be for. And yeah, a handful of students would get a really dope education, and it would be about the equivalent.
Are you asserting that charter schools offer better education?
No. He asked if I did it. If I did it.
You can do it right. Like,
I would do it right.
You would do the one.
I'm the one. He called me Drake. Didn't you call me Drake at the beginning? I'm the one.
I'm gonna turn off this camera. That's an unflattering.
Yeah.
No, you did the right thing. Turn off the mic too.
Okay.
He said the Drake. He said the Drake. What you call him? What'd you say?
Go make me another cup of green tea.
What'd you call him it for? What you call his tag name? Credible Hawk. Yeah,
Credible Hawk.
Drake, the Credible Hawk Charter School.
That would be it.
And y'all have a ball team. Y'all have a ball team called the basketball. I mean, Drake the Hawk Balls, and
all ballers.
And it would be like, and we would just we would reconstitute my Green Party presidential campaign slogan: "We ballin',
ballin'." You'll have Jim Jones as your mascot.
Jim Jones.
Hey, you see Jim Jones fighting them two people in the airport?
I did see that. He held his own though. He said he showed up on Instagram with smoking a blunt, talking about I'm good. I'm right here. I said, okay.
He said he hit me
that was I always thought it was cool to sag your skinny jeans, but I always thought if somebody come and haul off on me, how would I look fighting? And so I'm about to go see if Jim Jones had on those super skinny sagging pants.
No, I'm about to pull it up right here. I got you. I already got you. Let's take a quick look.
Yeah, he did win the fight. He got that. He got it in.
Oh wait, did they blur it? Why is it blurred out? Oh, they blurred it out.
They need to protect our sentiments. Which one is Jim?
The one getting punched in the back of the head right now.
I can't. Oh, we can't. That's not funny.
Oh, we can't even. Oh, he threw somebody down an escalator.
Yeah, he picked dude up. Dude went for a ride on the escalator.
He beat up two dudes. He's in the white.
Yeah.
His
they tried.
I think those are traditional '90s style sag. I don't think those are skinny jeans.
Oh, all right. So he must have came prepared. I'm going to go on the record and saying
and then he showed up.
If he ain't wearing them super saggy skinny jeans, then he knew he was about to get into a fight.
Maybe,
and I would have done that. I would have done that part even if I wasn't going anywhere. I'd have showed up. I'd have just put on a nice shirt and pulled out a cigar and acted like I was going out, even if I wasn't. If I had to.
You see how he ran screaming to the cops though?
Did he or did they show up? I felt like they just showed up. I don't feel like
he's like I got nothing to say.
No, he was snitching. He was snitching. He was like,
That's not snitching. See, we got to fix that here at EYL. That's not snitching.
I don't know.
Snitching first of all, remember, the only real snitching is when you snitch on somebody for political activity initially with the labor movement and all of that. The second one, but wait a minute though, the other more popular version is snitching is only when you have previously agreed to engage in some activity and then you tell once caught. If somebody attacks you, that's not snitching. If somebody attacks you and you got to point out to the cops who show up that they started it,
there you go.
That's not snitching. That's exactly what I would do. If you swing on me in an airport and the cops show up, I'll be like, he swung on me first.
Then you need to talk to these hood cats. Don't talk to me about it.
I am. I'm talking to the hood. That's all I talk to, Diallo. I'm never talking to you. I'm talking to the hood.
The hood.
Wow, what's going on here?
Diallo, what the hell you got going on there, man?
He's Neo.
I was on the drugs. It's y'all. What are you talking about?
This is your brain on.
Don't get high before you come into.
What the hell you going? What's going on over there? So I take it y'all don't want to do with that video. Y'all don't want to play that video or talk about that.
Hey Rob, who claimed I was? I never claimed I was from the streets.
I mean,
but you know what? Oddly, this is the paradox of my upbringing, though. But this is the paradox of my upbringing, though. I promise you, in terms of materiality, it was the equivalent. That's the paradox. The place was different. I grant you that. But in terms of the resources, it's wild. That was the hustle of where we grew up, where I grew up. $14 a month was the gentrifying invitation.
Listen, I think we need to recycle
that. But you're right.
I remember my first year at college, we was arguing whose city was the murder capital. Charleston had the most, Richmond, Virginia.
It ain't Chicago.
It was once DC per capita.
What I'm saying, I just feel like we need to go ahead and chill out with the streets and the hood. And I'm from the streets and the hood. And shit is lame.
But I think I don't mind when people want to clarify. I think sometimes it is important to clarify certain class experiential differences.
Yeah.
So I don't mind when people want me to clarify that I did not grow up in quote unquote the, I guess, proverbial or stereotypical
government housing.
But oddly enough, it was subsidized Section 8 housing. So that's but I'm just acknowledging. Look, it's a paradox. It's an odd situation. But I get it. I'm not mad at the clarification.
Jared,
I'm happy to
tell you. People confuse growing up in the hood with being hood or engaging in
okay, fair enough too. That's another good point.
I grew up in the hood too, but I was
the most hood cat ever.
Who collected comic books, and in fact, the vast majority of the people that grew up in my housing project, the young people were very wide array. We had punk rock youth and people that were into punk rock and speed metal. It was a small fraction of people in my hood that gave my neighborhood the reputation of being a gang drug infested.
The hood cats do the same thing.
Out of a housing project with well over 200 units, I could point to like 3 or 4 households that accounted for most of the hood shit that went on in that housing project.
But in the 80s, white folks were not funding major movie projects about you.
Right.
So
exactly.
I don't know nothing about that.
So dudes like us actually really do represent the hood.
Well,
in terms of how our life trajectory and outcome.
Hollywood didn't say so I don't acknowledge it. I need Hollywood's confirmation of your experience. Otherwise, it didn't happen.
A movie about a dude who grew up on Section 8 and went and started his own HVAC company, like my best friend who lived in that 2 doors down from me. You know, he grew up in the hood, violence and
unless you draw him and he gets bit by a spider.
Right. His mother was addicted to drugs. His father was a victim of a violent homicide, and he grew up, went to school, and started his own HVAC business. So,
it's not a good movie.
Watch that.
Did he get shot? Did he sell some crack?
You know, I was having a conversation.
Did he rob somebody for the startup capital?
It's not a good movie.
I was having a conversation. We've been best friends since the 3rd grade, and I was like, yeah, man, you know, back in the day we was talking about some people, and I'm like, we made it out. And he's like, shut the fuck up. What you mean we made it out? Well, as if there was any other projected outcome. You know, you were more likely to get hit by a car riding your 10 speed than because you wasn't in no shit. Nobody was paying attention to you. You know, so we from the hood don't really need to pretend. The hood is a community that, just like everybody else, it's an overexploited, under-resourced community. But by and large, many elements of the hood, it's still vibrant components to it. And I tell you, I wouldn't trade that for no motherfucking growing up where Kanye kids being raised and going to school. I tell you that.
And
or Russell Simmons' daughters.
Russell.
Like
anyway,
can we do this?
Y'all don't want to do this the video, right? The Nigel Cullins.
I didn't think about it. I definitely wanted to do the FUBU one though. But if you want it, but that's more lighthearted.
Y'all, it's trigger warning, so I don't know if y'all want to do that.
Where did that fight happen?
I didn't watch it.
I need to call and inform on Jim Jones. I think he anticipated.
Come on,
that
man.
fight.
No, that's a snitch. No.
I didn't.
Yeah, I have never claimed that I wasn't gonna snitch. But every time I see Jim Jones on the internet, he's wearing skinny jeans with tight fuchsia underwear, and the one time he's not, he's throwing hands. So he showed up at the airport to fight. That's all I'm saying.
Why is somebody swinging on Jim Jones?
It's probably staged, though. It's probably staged. That's his homeboy.
Maybe it was a rival gangster fashion.
Matter of fact, I think Jim Jones come out with a new album, so I think that has something to do with it. Pretty sure.
I don't know. The most Dipset I've ever paid attention to was watching the Cam and May show.
I thought you didn't see the verses when Dipset got trashed by the lot.
I watched some of it, and I watched particularly Jadakiss's performance and all of that. But I'm not. But every time Dipset was performing, I might have recognized maybe one or two, but I wasn't. I never was listening to them. I never listened to Cam as a rapper.
Cam had a I can't.
I'm not saying I liked the Oh Boy track, and then there was one other one back in the day, and then he did that Welcome to New York track with Jay-Z that I liked. But in terms of actually,
Cam, y'all talking about
when Cam first came out,
I listen to Cam now because I think the sports stuff is hilarious. That show is just a major problem and contradiction for me. But I do I do watch it. But I acknowledge that Mace too. I never listened to Mace. I was like, I didn't pay no attention to none of these cats.
Why my girl standing here?
So are we gonna do this? Are we doing this? Which are we doing? Are we doing the? Are we gonna do the difficult one? Because I didn't watch it. I didn't. So if this would be my.
I mean, we can. We could do trigger. Just kind of like to talk about the story. Yeah, we can do that. That's better.
By the way, real quick, I did want to say very quick before I forget again, I am waiting for word on what. Well, I think we're all waiting for word on the Leonard Peltier parole hearing, because Peltier had his parole hearing the other day, and I think it's still being waited. We're not. The last word I got was that we're not expected to hear immediately, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise. But in fact, decision by end of month or before the 4th is what my sources are telling me. Mm. So, but I would be very interested to see what happens with that, and I hope he can at least get out for a little while, because I mean, damn, it's just ridiculous. All right, my bad. So from that's a good segue, I think, to this to bring to right, because we started to get into some more heavy stuff, right? This is about to be
By all means, if you don't want to.
So trigger warnings, all of that. Warning.
You can walk away and come back if you don't want to see this.
All right. Well, what are you giving it? What's the story?
So it's the recently released video of the 2020 shooting of Nigel Cullins, the brother who was dealing with a mental health issue episode. And the video is finally released, and this is the video.
We're gonna actually look at the video. Should we be doing that? Do we do?
I don't know if y'all. We don't have to.
What is the thought on that? Do we have thoughts on that?
I've seen it.
Should we show it?
I mean, it's public.
I don't know. Should we consult the
chat,
the manual?
The manual.
You didn't get your copy.
This guy is always on
Power
his shit.
Code and rules manual.
You always on your shit, yo.
Let me consult because we got a lot of rules here now. This ain't
a lot in the chat seem to be saying no.
So no,
I wasn't.
Yeah, well, you could just pull it up and don't play it then.
I don't have the link, do I?
Yeah.
Oh, in the.
Yeah, so I can. Somebody saying show it. Somebody said not necessary.
I'm going to consult the.
No,
this is the introduction. This is the introduction to the new rules and codes and standards.
Views discretion. I mean,
this dude is terrible.
I kind of go back and forth with this idea of not seeing it. I don't
view it at their own discretion.
Yeah. Anyway, I do think.
Oh, wait. The remix had a great discussion yesterday. They showed it fully. Oh, all right.
They showed the video.
Well, if the remix
that's
showed
the last episode of the remix. I hope you mark that date. You'll never be.
All right, so yeah, I guess if y'all don't want to show it, that's cool. That's why I was double checking.
I don't know. I always go back and forth with this.
Me too. I feel like there's a
not me.
What do you think? You say just show it in your clarity?
Well, me personally.
Yes.
I can't speak for EYL, but me personally, I don't show it. I don't disseminate the stuff, especially what's the point since it's already anybody who's interested in seeing it
can go see it
and will see it.
All right. Well, then go back and watch the remix yesterday if you want to see it in full. How about that?
But again, I'm not trying to make a decision for the group, but
no, I'm good with that. I'm kind of agnostic. I don't really need to see it.
Atrocity hopping.
No, I'm good. I'm good with that too. So in terms of the situation, I just wonder about your thoughts. So apparently the mother called the police prior to Nigel going to the restaurant on Piedmont Road. And again, you do know, like, you can't call 311 or different helplines if it's an extreme crisis. So you have to call 911. And so she called them while she was at his apartment. They took so long, she couldn't kind of keep him there. And so that's when he went to the restaurant. And then even during the 911 call, the person at the restaurant kept saying he was doing stuff, but there's a video that I didn't see him go behind the bar and get a bottle and start drinking a bottle. There's a lot of things I didn't see in the video that was supposedly while he was on there. But yeah, I just wonder, like, even if you didn't watch it, you read some of the stories, and Diallo, you said you watched it, but what are some of your thoughts about the situation? And then maybe even speak to the idea of maybe mental health crisis. So example, like a guy that I grew up with, his sister, and his mother was a teacher, Anthony Hill. He was in Atlanta, and he was a person who came from the military, was having an episode, and he was naked jumping off the balcony, and he ran towards a cop with no clothes on. The cop still shot him. But yeah, I wonder what your thoughts around the story, the situation, and just reflection.
Well, we could play some of the family's comments and maybe get their word out. I think if not playing the murder,
is that the link you sent in the chat?
Yeah, just
okay.
Yeah. So
all right,
to kind of give how they carry it in their voice.
Locked On NBA podcast.
Bron and AD combined for 50.
On
who is Zinzi talking to?
Let me get it past the commercial.
But my position is I think that we engage as a community in what I call atrocity hopping, because and I think also in terms of conflating the mental health crisis with state aggression and state murder of Black citizens and immigrants in the state, they're not interrelated, because they were murdering us prior to the mental health crisis. And there's always some type of crisis in the United States, the drug crisis, housing crisis. The United States is in perpetual crisis. And why does every crisis What is the common denominator of every single crisis that this nation has ever provoked and endured has been Black people receiving the brunt of institutional and state repression, violence, and murder. So I don't think we should even play this game of we should be discussing mental health issues, but not in the context of that has anything to do with them targeting us. Like Dick Gregory said, they don't do it because we Black, they do it because they're white. And the white predatory aggression, white homicidal aggression towards non-white people, African people specifically, ain't got shit to do with whatever societal crisis that's going on. The economic crisis. Oh, white people go and join white supremacist organizations, and there's a flood of white nationalist formations because Obama's elected. And then there's a flood of white people joining white national organization because Trump is elected. And, so we as a community, we should understand the crisis as they impact us, but we need not tie them to white aggression and state and institutional aggression and predatory behavior towards us, because that shit is fixed. That's the common denominator.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think it's being highlighted here because the mother, upon calling 911, she said, "Can you please send a particular cop who has experience with a Black boy who has this episode?" And it's almost like, not almost like, but this is something that is being brought up consistently because he was there when he was having the thing at the house, and she was trying to get some help, which she wasn't able to get help.
It has been 2 years since 22-year-old Nigel Cullins lost his life at a FUBU de Chao in Buckhead. He was shot and killed by Atlanta police officers, and now the body cam footage of that incident has been released.
And for the first time since seeing that video, we're hearing from Nigel's family and their attorneys. 11 Alive's Brittany Kleinpeter joining us now in studio. You spoke with Nigel's parents, so what are they saying about the video?
That's right. So they're upset and shocked tonight, understandably, telling me why it's been the worst experience watching that footage. They believe, though, it still doesn't portray an accurate depiction of what went on that day. A parent's worst nightmare.
See your son's lifeless, his arms dangling.
Wait a minute, they're showing it on here?
They're not going to show the shooting.
Captured on video.
They're not going to show you want to remember your son.
It's been 2 years since 22-year-old Nigel Cullins was shot and killed following an interaction with police at FUBU de Chao in Buckhead. At the time, APD reported officers were responding to a call of an unruly customer with a gun.
Yelling at people now, a few minutes ago, he went inside the bar, pushed the bartender out the way.
And since then, his parents, alongside their attorneys, have been demanding that the body cam footage from that day be released.
All I keep seeing in my head is his hands up, afraid, and running for his life.
His dad saying just 24 hours after seeing it for the first time that he wished he'd never watched it.
I didn't get sleep last night.
Nigel's mom, Maya Cullins, had previously shared with 11 Alive that her son was undergoing a mental health crisis prior to the shooting, saying the body cam footage doesn't paint the entire picture, claiming it's edited.
A lot of the things in the initial narrative does not equate to what we saw. So our response to it, we want justice.
Tonight, attorneys for the family say they want the unedited version of the footage to be released so there can be more transparency as to what led officers to use such force.
What we saw yesterday was an attempt at being Steven Spielberg and redirecting what happened, and that's not appropriate for the city of Atlanta.
For now, the family and their attorneys are in the waiting game, telling us they have no word on when APD's investigation will be complete, knowing the district attorney will take a look at the case once it is complete. One of the family's attorneys shared with me that he had previously worked with DA Fani Willis and has a lot of confidence in her handling the case. Guys?
So again, as the calls was coming out in terms of the 911 calls from the restaurant, they said, yeah, he does have a gun in his waist. And the operator kept saying, is he pointed at you? Is he threatening you? He's like, well, no, he's not doing that, but he's acting erratic. And then in terms of when they tased him the first time, I know he said the video was edited, but it looks like soon as they walked in, and maybe they did it before, and this is the second time they walked in, but soon as they walked in,
I'm sorry.
Soon as they walked in, he put his hand up and start to get down. They pushed him down, they tased him, and then he got up and run. And then we ran. The other security guard tripped him up, and supposedly that security guard was shot. But again, in the video, you can't really see much of anything, and you don't know who shot him. But the white cop who shot him like 4 times, stopped, paused for a second, and then shot him another 4 times. So like there's things that even in the edited video that show some wild stuff, but then also it doesn't show, again, him going behind the bar, snatching bottles and talking aggressively to people. People are like literally just walking around existing as if like he's really not that much of a problem. But go ahead, Diallo.
Well, the 9/11 trend. Well, first of all, Georgia's an open carry state, so him having a gun until they confirmed whether or not. So if Georgia's an open carry state and cops are going to start unloading on people for committing crimes while engaging in their constitutional right to open carry, then we know that's not the factor, because cops are accustomed to engaging with people involved in civil infractions, which is what this guy would be qualified, as far as I know, looking at what the 9/11 caller said, involved in relatively minor civil misdeeds. If you're involved in civil infraction while engaged in open carry, then they're going to be shooting everybody every day. So based on the 9/11 call, they did say that he was creating a disruption. He grabbed some bottles. They talked about, and that the main issue was he was asked to leave and wouldn't. So it would have been essentially a trespassing charge, and maybe a resisting arrest, depending on how they do that. So a fleeing and avoidance, resisting arrest, and maybe trespassing. Those are not capital offenses. So even if what they showed, when they say, well, they edited it, even what I've seen based on the mother's 9/11 call, the restaurant employee 9/11 call, and the police engagement, the police use undue aggression, escalation taxes. So they're wrong on all fronts. Even according to their own damn story, they're wrong.
Yeah. Jared, any thoughts?
I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is.
But well, then I'd like to speak to.
I'm good because I don't have time to say it.
Right. So, I'd like to speak to the overall. The African community, we need to stop atrocity hopping. We go through these traumatizing events, and I see no cultural, communal, or even for many people who claim to be invested in these collective changes in our community. This is a fixed component. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. And as far as the trauma that's related, this is not the re-traumatizing. It's a fixed chronic state of trauma. Because even the mother
question about this right here
was aware of that.
Real quick. So whenever you say that, how do you package that message to the families who are experiencing that? So for instance, that mother, or my homeboy's mother, like how do you when you talk about atrocity hopping?
When Daruba and them briefly put together that effort to combat police terrorism, there was that point that Daruba made that I think would be most effective, which is that if we were able to organize the capacity to become a revolutionary version of what Ben Crump and them do in their ambulance chasing, the family shouldn't be speaking to the press, was Daruba's point at the time. And I actually agree with that the people suffering the trauma, your role is to heal to the best you can and let the politicized, organized efforts of the community take over what statements are made, what actions are taken, what policies are driven at, what's all of that, because it's not fair. Because what else is anybody going to say?
Right.
And how could they be expected to have all of their thoughts properly organized and prepared while they're going through that unimaginable pain and then they have to be put in front of a camera, who remember are only asking specific questions to elicit specific answers so they can make the 6 p.m. news look good. What that's not necessarily what is needed to politicize to make political progress. I want to say out of the situation, but that's not really appropriate either.
So Diallo, without that, without that apparatus or without that structure, how do you speak to atrocity hopping for the families that actually?
Well, it's not about, and this is in the context. I don't speak to it about the family because every family handles such things differently in their mourning phase. I agree with what Jared said, but there are some few exceptions to that rule because I think Eric Garner's daughter became a powerful voice in condemnation.
Good point.
So
New Bones. I was about to bring that up.
That's a good point.
Wonderful. But then if you look at Trayvon's parents, they are the perfect example of what Jared is talking about. Not only should they not be talking to the press, they shouldn't be talking to the Black community either. And the mothers of the movement up there with Hillary Clinton endorsing the very woman who made the super predator mainstream and brought that into the DNC through the DLC. So going to the woman that helped to create the atmosphere, to quote Farrakhan, who helped to create the atmosphere of the Black male predator in the modern era. So I agree with you, but there are a few.
No, you're right. You're right.
Exceptions to that rule of thumb that I think we should apply. But in terms of what about the families, how can I speak? I got 2 sons out here. I can't imagine what it's going through. So I'm not claiming to have any type of speaking to when they go. When I say atrocity hopping, I'm talking about the community and how the collective carries this.
Right.
I'm not talking about how individual families carry this because I'm sure Amadou Diallo coming and from their family and their culture will mourn and rebuild their family much differently than, again, like the Trayvons or the Gardners. So if you're coming to me as an individual going through that trauma, I don't, but as a community, as a collective who are collectively, because these incidents don't impact the family alone, they reverberate through our community. They are part of our history and part of our trajectory going forward. And when I say atrocity hopping is when something that is fixed in the society, a fundamental component of the culture, and we do not have any institutional, culturally based anticipation responses and remedies to this. Some of these atrocities fall by the wayside. Some of these atrocities will have a march and they'll become a martyr and a household name. Some of these atrocities will burn some shit down. But it's inconsistent, and it really depends on the climate at the time. We cannot. So what is sustained atrocities, sustained oppression, and sporadic responses. So we should have protocol, standards, resources set aside on how to confront, remedy, prevent, sanction, and punish for these things, because it is something that is a given. Be given. Before the latest victim's body is put in the ground, the next victim is already on the conveyor belt. So I say we atrocity hopping means that between each atrocities, there's no fundamental change within us. And we ask for change within the society when we were not willing to make the change that was within our community. These are not isolated, separate incidents. This is part of the fundamental functioning and apparatus of the state. Police do not protect laws. Police don't kill us simply because they're racist. Police defend and protect the status quo, because I guarantee you, I lived in New York for over a decade. Those Irish, Italian cops, they have as much anti-Semitic points of views. When they do investigation, they find they reading where do you think we buy the protocols of the elders? Where do you think we get those books? All the Alex Jones. So the white cops harbor anti-Semitic, deep-seated anti-Semitic views. But if they're in Crown Heights and they come across an inebriated Hasidic Jew, they engage much differently than with a black youth who's high or on drugs. They engage differently, not because of their personal feelings.
They took it to them.
And the status quo and the potential consequences from one act to the next. So you have to reforming, educating, all this shit. We have to transform the status quo. We need to fuck changing the attitudes, emotions, feelings, beliefs of any individual cops or having civilian we have to change the fundamental status quo. And we have to make it more expensive to them to target and abuse us than to leave us the fuck alone. The political, economic, social consequences. And so that's what it is. Until then, we are just atrocity hopping, going from one atrocity to the next and trying to determine, depending on how graphic it is, when it comes out, if it comes out in the summer versus the fall. And they're very strategic in when they release these body cam footages. They're very strategic. So we have to stop atrocity hopping and start to have cultural, institutional responses, anticipations, and sanctions for these treatment of our people.
So basically, this probably didn't work. Jared, I don't know if the recording is up, but the little bit about the book that I read, and again, not to
get your money, girl,
not to disparage this sister, but the politics in the book and the objective of the book, from what I read, sounds exactly what you're saying, like trying to change.
Nah, we're not going to do that. Shout out to my colleague at Morgan State University. You can see her in an episode of Academics, the classic, now legendary series, Academics in Cars. And that is one area of her research where we just
did y'all talk about that in the car?
Disagree.
Y'all talked about it?
It was much earlier in her stages of her work. And I think I don't honestly remember what was said publicly, but we did politely just let it go. I let it go. I'll admit we just disagree. I said I don't.
Everybody except us.
Who Jared is?
Yeah, he's Grace. Gives
yeah,
grace
he
to
do be
everybody.
snappy, don't he? He be snappy with us. Yo.
No, he gets on here and he just gives so much leeway.
Yeah,
listen, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna front. Not this. I'm just leaving it.
Hey, how Jared tell you to be on time this morning, Diallo? What he said?
Huh?
How Jared tell you to be on time this morning? What he said?
I have
what
to
did
look
we
it
tell?
up.
I didn't tell him. I said please.
No.
I said please
Yeah, he was
check the
something like, please
login.
don't make me have to deal with you. Right, he said something to that effect.
He used please in an aggressive manner. You ain't trying to act like you did
Please don't make me have to go into that other space.
Hey, listen, and then I caught it
Please don't make
straight.
me have to pull up.
Look at him, he disappearing.
But
Diallo, I caught it straight because of you, though. He
Oh, did it do it again? Hold up, though.
My camera's messing up too. The fence is on us.
Yeah, what's going on here, man? I didn't do
doing
this. No. This is not on purpose. This is what happened earlier before the show started. That you all said.
You saw my camera was messing up. I think I know why.
What is going on?
Diallo, what did you do with your camera? You went from what? Jared,
I went from my
now you back,
broadcast camera to my see that's
bad.
My,
that's bad.
my
That's bad.
main camera. So I just went to the webcam.
Jared is AI.
So I just went to my webcam, and I don't like using my webcam.
But wait a minute. I said, Diallo, please make sure you can log in before tomorrow morning at 8:05 Eastern.
That's some sauce.
And then I said, and please, both of you make sure to log into the correct studio. I've
So
set
why
up
I'm
the next
catching strays?
because what I did was it was my own protective thing. I set up in StreamYard the next
That's what he said.
episodes.
I'm trying to protect myself because I'm about to get locked up fooling with y'all.
No,
cats.
I wanted to make sure because I know
go back there.
because I know that
back to my old self. Please don't make me go back to that.
because I know that doesn't often happen, and I didn't want you to log in and see the first EYL and just jump.
I get it.
To
We would have
the
been sitting in
studio.
the thing by ourselves. You know,
Sitting
you
in
looked
the
out for us.
or worse, you'd have pushed go, and I would have had to
Why'd you
reset
use
the whole
the
thing
fist
from
emoji?
scratch.
Why did he put the fist emoji?
Oh,
on
I
it?
ain't see the fist. That he was gonna box
Nobody
us?
did that.
Go back
you
and look.
That's in your.
I don't like sharing our personal.
Diallo is the king gaslighter of all gaslighters.
No,
it's
man.
in your handle. It's literally in your handle. I'm about to pull up our chat.
Hey, did you say? Did he?
Can we?
Diallo,
Can we do my FUBU? Can
yeah,
let me just do this FUBU thing real quick.
Did you say if you gonna be late, you gonna throw hands? Is that what he said? Because I didn't.
What?
It's like,
I didn't know.
Please, hey, please. But let me proceed.
Geechee,
Let me tell you something.
Geechee, that's terrible,
Let me tell you
man.
something.
You're
If I
terrible
get a
right
grant
now,
to
man.
go teach police how to properly community police, don't y'all say nothing. There's nothing wrong with lying to white folks to get their money. If you're gonna go lie to cops and tell them that, you know, learning and memorizing the Kwanzaa Nguzu Saba will help them police our community better, it's okay. Don't lie to the black community. You can't lie to the hood or to the victims. But you can lie to the predators and go get your grant money because they giving all kind of money.
You don't have to lie to them though, because
to get the money.
But listen, I told you I did a training when I was doing a contract with Outward Bound. I used to have to do a training with the cops before they interact with the kids, and that's when we had an argument, and one of the lady got real uncomfortable. Because I was asking them, I was like, raise your hand if you trust politicians. And none of them would raise their hand. And they was like, yeah, we don't understand why the community treat us differently. I was like, but raise your hand if you trust politicians. They wouldn't do it. I said, so you don't trust the politician who make the policies that you enforce on the people, and you understand that they don't trust you? You don't understand that? They all turned red. And then one dude was like, he started like advocating for a vehicular stop and frisk, which is pretext stop. And I was like, you see what you're doing there? He's like, yeah, I know what you're saying. So after the event, he was like, yo, I got this coin. Anything up to a murder, call me. I'll take care of it. So I was antagonism with him, and they gave me a get out of jail free coin.
Where was
in
this?
Baltimore.
Do you still have that coin?
It's somewhere, but I only use it once. Though.
What did you do that was up to a murder? What did you do?
Stop, man. I only use it once.
You put your coin. Where the coin?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I only use it once. I only use it once.
Where is the coin?
I don't know.
You cashed it
in my car.
What did you do?
I never had to. You don't have to give the coin. You could just.
You're gonna show that coin Friday, or else I'm gonna say you did something up to.
I'm gonna find the coin. I'm gonna find the coin. But anyway, the only time that I used it
under murder.
The only time I used it was I was pulling up to my house, and a cop kind of like followed me, and he was like, where you going? I was like, man, listen. And I showed him the coin. He's like, all right, well, you have a nice day. So, boom.
Hold on.
You don't have to be nice to the cop.
You telling us how it benefited you personally? What about what town is this?
That's Baltimore, man. I don't know.
Oh, Baltimore of all places. Wow.
You just said be nice. You just said be nice to the cops to get paid.
You around. If you had told me you had that coin, we could have got into some things.
No, hell no, not with you. You different. you
have the coin. We good.
I ain't got the coin with me. I don't even know where the coin is. I gotta go find it. But we wouldn't know. That was a long time ago.
If I had that coin, it would stay.
You believe Geechee was riding around with you with a get out of jail free coin and didn't tell you?
Not us, not you. You wasn't gonna get out.
Oh, so me and Diallo would get dragged off, and you would be walking away.
Pick out what I wanted. Like that right there. Yeah, that.
I don't think he was serious, but I don't think he was. I ain't never tested his theory.
Extra medium. Get the extra medium.
Listen, I think he was trying not to lose the argument.
Size 13.
All right, let's go, Geechee. Let's go. I'll leave the car running.
We just stand outside with the pictures.
No, the Xbox.
Go
X,
get
not the S,
right.
The black one, not the white one. Get an extra controller too.
I think he was trying to win the argument. I don't really think he was going to help me. I think he
just worked. You said you already spun on him.
I was already at home though. I was like
exactly
in the house.
D5J exactly. I would have that coin like on my betting bracelet.
I'd be pulling that shit out. I'd have that shit minted. I had that shit encased in gold, encrusted in diamonds. I'd be like,
look.
Look,
once upon a time, man, when we delivered pizza back in the day, when I was delivering pizza, one of my homeboys was friends with a Maryland State trooper who used to come in there and always get pizza. Mm-hmm. And he said something about that he had some sort of arrangement that he thought would hit. Well, one night, me and two other friends were on 95, and I have to admit, all due respect and all apologies, because I actually feel really guilty about this. We were twisted, inappropriately, way past inebriated, driving down. We had just burnt another one, and we get pulled over. And I was slumped. I wasn't driving, but I was in the passenger seat, slumped against the window. And when the cop opened up, and I mean, all the odor and everything, we had been drinking. It was a mess. All I could say was the man's name. All I could say was the man's name. That was literally the only thing I could voice. And dude said, wait a minute, went to the car, came back, and all he did was say, can somebody else drive? And our other homeboy, who was the most able to fake it, got up front and drove, and we got out of it. And so I'm with it. I would have absolutely had it on my meta bracelet or whatever. I'd been like pushing the button.
I had it in my car at the time. And somewhere it might still be in my car, but I had it in my car.
You know, my favorite uncle was a cop, Kansas City Police Department for 30 years. And he would get that the day I got my driver's license. He was like, listen, you get pulled, you do any shit, don't you say my name.
I don't even know.
They bang you. If you say my name, I'm gonna tell them to bang you harder. Don't say my name.
Damn.
That's my experience with having. That's the only hookup I ever got. I got a little.
I don't know that I had the hookup. Like, nobody officially gave me the hookup. I never even met the cop. I never even spoke to the guy whose name I dropped. Like, I just said it. I was desperate. I was like, this is not looking good. I was like, wah, wah, wah.
That ain't been my experience. I ain't never been able. Blood. My own flesh and blood told me.
Here's my other story. I got one more other cop story.
I
got one more other
dude might have got in trouble. Like, I don't ever know what happened. Like, I don't know that. Again, he might have been saying that to his buddy. I was like, look, I just see y'all hanging around at the pizza joint.
I had the SRO at my school. He supposedly was the cop that was supposed to take care of my tickets in high school. Because like I had different tickets, and
y'all had cars in high school. I'm sitting here with these bourgeois.
No, listen here. You missed the point. I ain't say I had a car. I might have been driving. I ain't supposed to be driving. But anyway, he's supposed to take care of some tickets.
Oh man! I'm sitting here across from the boule.
But one day I get a call. No, I had something in the mail, and I called them. I was like, "Hey, I need to figure out this." They was like, "Mr. Shaw? Oh my gosh!" They said, you got a warrant out for your arrest." I was like, "What you mean warrant for my arrest?" Because he never took care of none of my tickets, and he ended up going to Miami for something, and I had a bunch of tickets that never got taken care of. So I never had good luck with them cops. The only thing this is probably funny. The only good thing he did for me is when I was trying to holler at this one girl that I really liked, and I was dating another girl, and I forgot to break up with her, and the other girl gave me a chance finally, and then they found out that I had to stop school. I said, listen, I need to use your office. Hey, listen, this is the only time you look out for me. I said, I need to use your office. So I need you to call this girl out of class and call it to your office. And so I had to use his office to apologize
to break up. I could see 17-year-old.
I was about to. She was at another school, and
I was about to.
I promise you, I forgot. She was at another school. She wasn't at my school.
You forgot to break up.
I forgot. I took too long to do it. I should have been undid it, and because I ain't know the system was going.
Exactly, Leah.
I didn't know the system was going to give me a play. But once she gave me a play, I was like,
because I don't want to be lied to my face. I'm feeling like the girl now. I'm gonna tell you like the girl should have told you. Listen, you got me.
Listen, that's the only good thing he did for me. He stopped school for me. He stopped school for me. He called it to the office.
Football stud. That he was out there. He was out there. I'm number 27.
I was a different football. I talked to everybody, so I wasn't like that. So.
Yeah, we seen you talk to everybody. You was
I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about I wasn't no bougie football.
That might have worked on your little high school. I didn't mean to cheat, baby. I forgot to break up with you.
I forgot.
You're so kind. You run that game. We grown folks. So that's not gonna work on us, Geechee.
Listen, bro. I promise
there
you.
It is. Wait. There it is. Stop the cap.
I promise you. They called. She called him out. He called her to the office. He was like, she come to the
And you
office.
still got a reputation, Geechee.
Don't do that. See,
I be out here defending you.
You go ahead, man. Anyway.
That's why Mason Cam Warren it starts with the pillow talk.
All I know is that's the only time a cop
the ear hustling.
All I know is
the pocket watching.
If a
then the
black
backstabbing.
If a black person gets some money to go tell cops how to not be racist, I don't have nothing against you taking money from the state to go tell cops how not to be racist. But don't come to the community telling us.
I mean, if you can see to them solving crime though, because I think one of the little back and forths that we had with Sister Mika on her panel when she was debating the other mayor candidates, she was like conceding to the fact that the cops, instead of respond to crime or whatever, they actually solve it, and she didn't have to do that because
that's not their role to solve.
I know that, but that's my point. But I say if you're going to go do those workshops, don't be conceding to points that are not. So you can tell them how to be better people, but don't be like, yeah, we agree. You did lower numbers, huh?
Tell them anything.
No,
no matter what you tell these pigs.
Because they're gonna clip that, and then now you're gonna be all over the place lying to cops, or not lying to cops, but sounding like you pro police.
I guess.
Don't do that.
All right, we can do this very quickly. I was sent. Shout out to Eve who sent me this. FUBU Founders Film Studio links $450 million content deal to produce diverse film projects. This was announced earlier this month.
Do guys still own? He still own the FUBU? Damon John or whatever.
That's the one part of this I did not look into. I just assumed that that's what it was, because what I did look into once reading that initial announcement was just
none of them dudes own. That's why they say founder, not owner. Don't none of them dudes. They sold that shit out as soon as they could.
Really?
So the announcement here from PR
conglomerate bought it.
From PR Newswire, Pantheon Studios and Motion Media Group joined forces for a $300 million deal backed by Eudora Financial. So that's essentially who's backing this whole thing. So Pantheon is the studio that linked up with FUBU to give them that deal. They still own it. Okay. Pantheon linked up with FUBU to do the studio, but they are a subsidiary of Eudora Financial. All right. So you look up Eudora Financial, and this is the crew.
It's not us.
They're not like us.
By us.
So this is the team. Jeremy Christensen has an impressive track record of securing impressive $890 million in funding. He's established himself as an architect of strategy spanning economic, finance, entertainment, digital media, and technology. This sounds like the white version.
Is that real pictures? That's not real pictures, are they?
Yeah, this is the version of because when you look at his LinkedIn,
they look like vampires.
When you look at his LinkedIn, it's similar. And he's apparently an entertainment guy, but the whole team, I mean, this
smell like that dude. It smell like that dude who gave money to FAMU, man, because they only look like real white people.
You have to scroll to the bottom, and you get some ethnicity at the bottom.
Go down there.
Y'all never scroll to the bottom.
No, well, you got it. No, I did. You just got it.
Is that an actor? Christian Lewis.
Christian Andrews.
He looked like
he's the chairman and committee of Initiative Equity Partners.
No, those fake pictures.
He oversees investment strategies, managing a portfolio of companies in finance, energy, and technology.
All these
this
AI
does look like they do look like AI pictures.
They are polished.
Who the hell is all? They look like this look like those old racist white movies. Like all of them look like they could be in those.
There
movies.
you go, Dr. Zhang.
Yeah,
there you go. Dr. Zhang is a published health and sports scientist with over a decade's experience in professional sports and private equity. He's the CEO of Players Company, a syndicated platform mission to empower professional athletes and investors alike to build generational wealth through education, community.
He's talking that lingo.
I didn't know the white boy name, but Johnny Depp. Don't that dude who look like Johnny Depp up there? Go up.
Oh, right here.
Right there. Him.
Oh, you thought that was Johnny Depp?
Yeah, Yeah, I thought that was Johnny Depp.
Not all white people look alike, Geechee. Shame on you. Shame.
And don't she look? She looked like an actress too. What's that white lady name? Christian? No, not
Pick
Christian.
one.
Yeah,
Pick
they all
one.
look alike.
Shame on the both of you. I'm
No,
embarrassed to
look like
be
Johnny Depp. Everybody said it in the
associated with all of that. They all look alike.
chat. All right, ain't no black people on there.
No,
but
there were.
I mean, if you
But,
two
yeah.
Asians equal one black. Y'all didn't get the diversity, the DEI.
The DEI formula: 2 Asians plus
Hey, you know
1
what?
white woman equals 3/4
I'll
of
give
black.
a shout out, yo. Our chat is better than AI. You know, our chat is better than AI. Because I was thinking, I don't know none of those people name, but they came up with Johnny Depp and Gwyneth Paltrow that fast.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Does she not look like Gwyneth Paltrow? Go back and look at her.
All look like Gwyneth Paltrow.
She looked like Gwyneth Paltrow. He looked like Johnny Depp.
Shame
they all look
on
like
this
like-
racist.
They all look like Paltrow.
That's Gwyneth Paltrow, bro.
Shame on this racist ass chat and my co-host.
No,
Shame.
our chat better than AI. Our chat is way better than AI. Appreciate y'all.
That
chat.
is
They all look like Paltrow.
But most importantly, that's for us by us, and they're going to be producing $300 million worth of content to prove.
No, they
they're gonna,
won't.
They're going to
What's
produce.
what's their first production?
Like they
Garrett?
did Cosby.
They got
Huh?
any production in the works?
You know what? I didn't see any. I just saw the announcement. I didn't
They
see.
better not do no movie like Civil War.
Let's see. Oh man, Civil War, son.
Jared Diallo, you got to watch Civil War. Want me to send you the link?
I ain't got to watch it because I live it.
It is bananas. So
gonna
what
send you
they
the
say
video.
is they said that joining forces with Eudora Financial and Pantheon Studios is a remarkable opportunity for Motion Media Group to help deliver high quality content to the global audiences we serve. We are eager to contribute our diverse perspectives and steadfast commitment to authenticity to this collaboration. Together, we will produce groundbreaking content that celebrates inclusivity and resonates with viewers worldwide. So it's
What's the
FUBU
name
is
of that
going to help
company
them
one more time?
reach Eudora Financial. Is the and I mean they are the parent company that owns, they're the private equity firm that owns Pantheon Studios, which is and Motion Media Group, who are joining for it. So Pantheon is the subsidiary
in Greece.
And then
Why they got this $15 website? The links don't work.
And the partnership is for a slate of 30 films over the next 3 years.
Jeez.
So if I'm mathing correctly, that's $10 million per movie. So we're about to get a bunch of low budget
Master P movies. I got the hookup. The Revenge of Master P. That's gonna be them.
I'm trying to see where they first project.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Don't sleep on them movies. You ever see My Mama Foot?
No.
Y'all missing out on the culture.
So that's not my left foot. That's my mama's foot.
I'm telling you, good movies.
I haven't seen that.
That's gonna be the quality of Mama's Foot.
Oh,
we are set to create films that are not only visually stunning but also filled with fun, adventure, and creativity. Yeah, what's up?
We can submit something. We could submit something for Pantheon.
Let's do it. Let's get an EYL film.
Yeah, man.
They're gonna get every thirsty.
What is this in the chat?
I mean, this ain't gonna be.
Isn't this
the right form?
This is not gonna be no quality upliftment part of the black film canon. So I don't understand the point. What that got to do with us? Leave us out of it.
Well, FUBU, I'm sure is gonna make. I mean, my man is on Shark Tank, right? That's him on Shark Tank.
They're gonna trickle down. They're gonna trickle down.
This is a different dude, though.
It's a different member of the FUBU crew.
4 founders, right?
No, John is the main guy, but his friends.
I thought I read that he's in. I thought he's the one involved with this.
Well, it said founders, plural. But like I said, they don't own FUBU no more. That's why they call them. They didn't say FUBU owners. They said FUBU founders. They've moved on to finer things.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Diallo, seriously though, you and Dr. Mango should have a date night and watch Civil War. And then I would like to hear y'all response.
So everybody go into the show description and fill out the form where we at so that we can know where EYL supporters are located geographically, which may be how you are rewarded with our physical presence live and direct in your location. So that's the part we want to know, where we want to know where you are so we can, as they say, pull up. So don't just put it in the chat. Go fill out the form that's linked in the show description so that we can create the EYL community map.
Because Dion said what? We coming.
It's in the show description. It's just got put in the chat again, but the link is also in the show description. So you can always just go right down there and find it, and all the other links that are relevant to this particular program, you'll find down there as well. So the where we at, or the where are we document. And then for the announcement for the June 29th Remix All-Stars Live, that link is in there as well. So we invite you all to consider coming out to that and tell us where you are for EYL so we can show up where you are.
Hey.
Maybe.
You remember that time?
Live from Boise, Idaho.
You ever see this dude? I think he's from Maryland, and he made it to the NFL, and now he's a comedian. But he was not pranking, but parodying Deion Sanders.
Kids.
No, I haven't seen this.
See, when I look around this room, I see little boys. Little boys that don't know nothing, don't want nothing, don't feel nothing because they ain't never had nothing taken from them. Been given everything. You got titties in your mouth. Still smell like Similac. I can smell it from a mile away. You see, I'm walking around here and I see you got all these bells and whistles and whatnot. Y'all got iPads, we barely got our cloud. You got flat screen TVs, we got fatbacks. Y'all got scooters and Pell Grant money. We got food stamps. You got jacuzzis, hot tubs, swimming pools with chlorine. We barely got water. It hurts me when I see young men with an opportunity to change the walks of life for their families. You got the opportunity to change your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your auntie, their lifestyle. But you don't want it. I'm not here to strike fear. I'm just letting you know that we're here. Just like that Gawk 9000, baby. I'm telling you, I'm coming. When I'm in there from the back and she look back at me, I want you to know I'm coming. When she on top and I say, get off. Because.
Pause.
I'm coming. See, I ain't coming empty-handed, baby. I got bags in this loot. This ain't Canal Street, baby. It's authentic. It's straight off Saks Fifth. Shador would be your quarterback.
Yeah. Anyway, we coming.
I don't get it.
Well,
he was talking about how they got all these resources, and then I don't know.
Yeah, he was mimicking Dion's speech, and actually Dion said a lot of that stuff, but he was like, you know, what y'all have at Colorado versus what we had at Jackson State.
But then he said they got Pell Grants and we got food stamps. I was kind of following him until he said that.
Yeah, he was just, you know, he mean his comedian
But
stuff.
wouldn't they not qualify from Pell Grants if they come from affluent backgrounds? But then he started talking about how they can change their families' lives, but I thought they come from affluence. I don't get the joke.
He's coming. That's all.
Okay,
that
I
matters.
get that part. Yeah.
And we coming. We coming to your city.
He was talking about the class dynamics between his other school and the other one. He was
joking though. A lot of
but
that
it's
was
a bad joke. Just because
it was a bad joke.
Get out of saying something. It's still a bad joke.
If we got to do all of this, it just didn't.
It didn't land well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lou. I tried to give you some shine.
So any announcements, anything before we break out for the week? Tomorrow, Saturdays with Renee, Sundays, Ear Doctor, Warrior Class Saturday after at 1:00. What else? Make sure you have the bell rung so you don't miss anything. What you got? What else?
Oh, no. We finished.
We
finishing up.
Last. When is that?
To heckle them.
You said he going to what?
See Common and Dead Prez. Oh yeah.
Diallo, I got this AJ Gent coming to your town in Chicago. I'm gonna come there. We gonna go on a double date. He make the guitar sing.
What the hell are you talking about?
AJ Gent is a guy named AJ Gent.
You're dating him?
And I know you said that's the double date.
We coming to see him play, and I'm gonna come. And we gonna go on a double date.
Does the woman know that she's in a relationship with you? Did you forget to tell her you're in a relationship? You be forgetting to break up. Maybe you be forgetting to get together too. Don't come up with some shell-shocked woman on your arm like.
Never mind. I'm trying to share finer music. I'm trying to share finer music with you, but never mind, bro. Never mind.
Like, brother, I just met you and you got me in Chicago. We just met 2 days ago. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, you my woman. The cops are like, listen, this lady was kidding. Carry on, man.
Is the Jackson show happening for sure? Yeah. What are the details with that? Is it what is the date for that?
See?
Yeah,
August what?
I forgot.
So right now we had August 17 to save the date, but
to actually do the show. Me and Geechee, we be forgetting the mad important shit.
Was it August 17th?
I have to talk to.
That was our save the date. That's the date that Dr. Mango gave. What you mean? You know when you're going down there? That's the album release party.
I have to talk. Yes, but as far as all the other arrangements.
They don't need to know the arrangement. They just need to know the date happening for sure.
Yes.
Boom.
I believe it's out of my hands.
It's beyond me. You giving it to God? You let the Lord handle it?
I failed to make some phone calls I should have made when I got back from New York. So
see, you walking around with them. You walking around with them liberals and conservative. They change you, Diallo.
I will have more info coming soon. Sorry, in enough time. Sorry.
So
all right, well, no.
Sorry, hey,
no. We finished. I recommend checking out Two Blacks book. We finishing it up last week we had some leaders from Charleston because we was covering the Dylan Roof section of Two Blacks and Rasul book. But I definitely recommend grabbing that joint. They did really good. I think Diallo will be proud too, by the way. But yeah,
highest praise.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. Peace if you're willing to fight for it, like Fred Hampton used to say. We'll see you next week right here with more.
You got to earn your liberation.